Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Happy New Year. The crossover is powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. I haven't seen either one of you in a long time. You in a while because you were gone with the junior college championship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's been
Merry
like almost a month for you two.
Merry Christmas. Happy
Wow.
New Year.
How you been, bud?
I'm doing well.
Bob,
I just I got back from Fargo, eh?
Hey, Fargo.
Picked up a dub.
How's the weather up there?
Cold.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's cold here, though.
So-
This is real.
So we stayed in a really nice hotel, like a boutique hotel in downtown Fargo
Ooh.
called Jasper Hotel. I highly recommend it. Their downtown is really nice,
Fargo?
but they have two seasons, winter and 4th of July. And if you can handle it, I don't know how people live up there.
No, but I
It's
don't either.
I was very close to living up there.
You know, all the
Very close.
all the pictures online of the Jasper Hotel are taken on, it seems, the 4th of July. The grass is green, the sun's out, the sky's blue. Yeah, looks like a nice city in July.
Yeah.
Looks like not such a nice city at many other times of the year.
Is 4th of July a better holiday than Thanksgiving? I think it is for me. I think officially this year, 4th of July went from probably like number 4 to number 2 on my top holiday list.
I love America. I think Thanksgiving is almost
Good of
more
you to
American
say that
than
on
the
January
4th of July.
6th, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Glad you said that. It's like a holiday, January 6th.
Where's that simple tweet?
You know, I had a buddy whose
Who was
birthday-
there?
No.
Oh.
That's what I asked.
Yeah.
That's how we started this morning. I said, somebody was there?
Yeah, he had the big horns, and he was sitting in Pelosi's office.
So
and-
my buddy had a kid this past weekend.
who was there?
And I was just, as
Well, he
as
was
they were
jailed for
Yeah.
storming the Capitol?
as they were targeting which
Oh,
day
yeah.
the child was going to be born, and
Oh.
I was really, really, really rooting for today, just for the joke of it. But it fell a little short. Congratulations to them.
Yeah,
January 6th.
my buddy's like every time he tells someone he's born on January 6th, he gets the oof, or the tough.
Let's check out famous birthdays for January 6th.
Oh, okay, good bit.
Ooh, we making bets? We making bets for who's going to be born on January 6th?
If you can nail
Yeah.
one of them, I would be amazed. I would be amazed.
Is there anyone notable?
You want to throw out a person? You go right ahead if you want to.
Charlie Sheen.
This stupid
You mean industry?
this stupid website.
You're on that website with the TikTokers at the top of the page.
100
aren't
they
you?
think that the TikTokers are more important than. Well, here we have Mr. Bean.
Oh,
Oh,
my son loves Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean is a January 6th guy.
He was in Rat Race.
Yeah, he was in Rat Race,
yeah,
which is a
that's-
great
That's
movie.
the only movie I know him from.
Can
Can you give us an industry? Give us the most famous person, what industry they're in, and then Gary and I will try.
Well,
and
according
guess.
to famousbirthdays.com, Maddie B.
I was gonna say Maddie B. Raps as a joke, not a joke.
I don't know who that is.
Who is that?
Maddie B. Raps was like,
Who
oh
is
my
this
god,
child?
he was the meme of my generation. That guy was the meme before meme. So basically, in like
Whoa.
2011, he was like a knockoff Justin Bieber. And he was so cringe and he was so weird and he would like rap. He was like this little 11-year-old white kid who would rap. And it was Maddie B. Raps. And then like all of a sudden he became like a decent singer. But like he's famous for being famous because he was this weird internet kid who was real cringeworthy before cringe was a thing.
I
was going to say Maddie B.
I've never
Raps
heard of him.
as a joke.
I've never heard of Maddie B.
He was like a poor man's Justin Bieber. I'm telling you, look at your chat right now. There's going to be some Gen Zers. In
They
there
don't know who Maddie
Maddie
B is in the
Raps is.
chat.
I'm
They
telling
don't. They don't know who.
I
Maddie
actually
B
thought it
is.
was a female, spelled with
Yeah,
B's.
yeah.
No, Maddie B. Raps. Maddie B. Rap. Play a Maddie B. Rap song, Josh. Play his original one back
He's
in
just
like.
treating you like a jukebox.
Hey, young Jamie.
So, today in 1994, January 6, 1994,
Dennis Quaid was born.
that you're going to work on your age there. Jameis Winston was born today, 1994.
How about we do this? How about most
Happy birthday,
likely
Jameis.
that were born on this day to celebrate their birthday at the Capitol 4 years ago?
I got one for you. How about in 1984, born on January 6th, AJ Hawk.
Oh,
We don't know if he has opinions or not because he doesn't say
Yeah.
anything.
maybe Pat will let him talk today as a present.
Yeah.
They make those jokes on there though.
Why is he not in the first hour ever?
I have no
that's just
idea
how
what they do
their-
on that show.
That's just how their shows. I mean, since the dawn of that show, when it was just like an internet show, that's how they've done it. And I think it's like, I mean, he is basically the co-host, but they always do like, and our guest today, like AJ Hawk, but he's a guest on every single show.
And then he just sits there and shakes his head the entire time.
I think he's got to drop the kids off at school or something, so that's why he doesn't.
Also born in 1984, same day as AJ Hawk, Kate McKinnon.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
Kate McKinnon. where are
2
you?
years before that, Gilbert Arenas came around.
Agent Zero.
Might have been.
Interested in guns.
My dad had a friend who dated Gilbert Arenas.
Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones.
Jones.
Mike Jones.
Is that the Mike Jones in the
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones?
Mike Jones. Yeah, that's him. Who?
Yeah.
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones.
Yeah. Asante Samuel.
Oh, that's a great like niche.
There's totally random
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Here's a baseball one, Gary.
Sante Samuel.
Random baseball
Jared
guy.
Satalamakia.
Casey Fossum. Casey Fossum, like a relief pitcher for probably 3 decades.
And they played for every minor league team as well, and his way up to the majors.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, there's some highlights.
I have a question.
Well, many
question
people are
for
telling
you.
us that today is Ndamukong Suh's birthday.
Are you serious?
Yes.
It's not popping up on any of my famous birthday tabbed websites.
38 today. Just wanted to slide that in before.
Happy birthday, Sue.
38.
So
Jeez.
his
Remember when he was robbed of the Heisman? People
so
forget.
When did
Yeah,
his
no one
clock-
forgets.
When did his clock start for Can? So he didn't play this year. He's not officially retired, right?
No, not officially. I
He's
think
not
he
put
was
in the paperwork.
he was trying to see.
But
well,
you can like retroactively,
yeah.
like from the last time you played in
Yeah.
the league, say I've been
Eagles
retired.
in 22 is his last list.
So-
Oh wow.
So his window opens up what in 3 years?
3 years.
Yes.
That's
Hey,
a
Matt
first ballot.
Nagy. Matt Nagy just got requested to be interviewed for
The Saints job.
The
Jet-
Bears.
the Jets head coaching job.
Yeah.
No, Matt. I have a rule here. I have a couple rules. I don't want a defensive coordinator, and I don't want anyone named Matt. I'm done with Matt's being the name of my head coach.
Okay.
Matt Nagy, Matt Eberflus. I'm done. I already dragged my name through the mud. I'm done with other people dragging my name through the mud. I don't want any more Matts. And if we fire Ryan Poles, I want no more Ryans as my GM either.
Sure.
We went from Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace to Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles.
Are you interested in Ben's?
I love a Ben. I
Okay.
love a Ben. I
Okay.
want to name my kid Ben.
All right.
Benjamin Michael McMaster.
There you go. You got some Ben's.
I would love a Ben. I wouldn't mind a Cliff. Wouldn't mind a Cliff
Spelled with a K.
with a K.
Has to be spelled with a
you
K.
know, I would be okay with a Mike.
Tomlin?
Maybe
Make
Maybe.
a trade.
McCarthy.
You'd be okay with
I'd
that?
be okay
Wow.
with it.
Ooh.
I just want
That's
to
desperation.
win games. The guy wins games.
Does
okay?
he?
He does.
Not really.
Yes, he does.
I don't
Does he
know.
win games that matter?
Neither does Mike Tomlin. They got the same amount of Super Bowls, and they got a similar head coaching regular season record. Yet
I don't think you want him. I don't think you want that, Mike.
I would not be. I would.
Pick a different Mike. Pick a different Mike.
Mike.
Vrabel.
No, he's going to New England. That's a done deal.
Probably.
That's over. That's signed, sealed, delivered.
Almost
After
for
Gerard Mayo delivered that last glorious win for the New England Patriots and lost the #1 overall pick.
Thanks,
I've
Jared.
never seen a head. Hey, congrats, Josh.
Thank you.
I
Thank
can't
you.
wait for the haul you're going to get.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
You're going to get a massive haul from Cam Ward.
I'm sure Tennessee won't screw this up.
Hey, you guys had a hell of a year when it comes to against the spread as well.
Yeah?
Yeah. You were really, really good. I think you were 2-15.
You're welcome,
Thank you.
America.
Tony Pollard.
I made a lot
Just
of money
get-
off Purdue this year.
Tony Pollard was getting me them fantasy yards that meant absolutely nothing this year. It was awesome.
Yeah, I drafted Tajay Spears for a friend of mine. And I was like, yeah, I told her, I go, he's going to be great. He's going to be really good.
You were
Tajay
like
Spears
Tony Pollard's
is going to
washed.
break out. They're not going to give it. I'm telling you, by week 6, it's going to be Spears' show. Totally wrong.
I have a question about you yesterday at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
All
For
right.
the Nebraska-Penn State women's game.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Nebraska rallied late to pull out the victory.
In the cream uniforms.
Yeah.
A lot of grinders at that building this coming up this year, I think.
Yeah. But it's a dub.
It's a dub.
So there is some controversy that has been brewing because some people think that the baby race at halftime was fixed.
Well, I don't know what I would say to get you to believe me, but
How do you fix a baby race?
Great question.
I can't make the babies go faster.
How did they select the people that included the Schaefers?
There was
Did you have to sign up?
There was an entry process. You put your name in, and I don't know how many entrants were in. But they were selected as one of the six.
Are people denying the results of the baby race and storming up to PBA
So
right now?
I think the Schaefers have been practicing for weeks.
Wait, so Mike's daughter,
Son,
okay,
yeah,
Little HUD
did the baby race
and won.
Wow,
Yeah. By a nose, by
what do you mean a nose? They don't have noses.
I mean, he put his hand on the line first. That's that. Check the tape. Check the tape. Videos out there.
See a lot of angry people going up to PBA today.
Like I was telling Nick and Josh just before the show, I couldn't see Lil Husker. And also I am the sole, like, I'm the only person that matters because
put that on a t-shirt.
No, but like, if I say that the person who got last won, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, congratulations, they won." So I couldn't see how close of a race it was, and then I was like, "Oh, are we sure? Are we sure?" And then I had some people point over to the other side. They were like, "Yeah, they got it," but it was just by a hair, almost a late comeback by baby number 6.
Now, this doesn't apply to these Schaefers, Shelby and Mike, but there are a lot of parents that are germaphobes with their kid. Can you imagine the germs that are picked up by crawling on a basketball floor at halftime?
Well, they mop it.
It can't be any worse than the germs picked up at a kindergarten.
What do you think? Bottoms of basketball shoes? Yeah, I guess that doesn't sound great, does it?
Yeah, no. I was wondering how you were going to spin it.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that, honestly.
But there are people that are wondering if the Schaefers have been practicing for a while, like in the basement of their house.
No, I just think Lil Hutsker's a gamer.
What is the prize for winning said baby race?
$529 into a college savings account.
Really?
Yeah.
It's competitive.
Wow.
Well,
that's
They're
worth
talking about
something.
touring around to find out where other baby races are to win more money.
Well, the
take it on the road.
Great hustle.
the surprise was
Great
every racer ended up getting $529 deposited into a college savings account.
Little Hudson ends up, he's 18 years old. Like, yeah, you have 42 accounts open. You went on a tear. You were the secretariat.
Your parents have been
baby
arrested
races.
for a baby race scam when you were younger.
I'm just mad that the video didn't catch Lil Hudsker trying to plant the flag at midcourt.
No.
They had to have
was
the
there
cops
pepper,
come
was there
out.
pepper spray?
Yeah, I
involved
saw
in
the
that?
body cam footage. It was ugly.
Is there new legislation being established in order to stop that from happening?
Yep.
Wow.
You bet.
All right, I have an ethical discussion that came up recently.
All right, we're going for it.
A DoorDash guy picks up the food at the restaurant.
Hate him.
Okay,
Get out of
maybe-
here.
Maybe Uber Eats.
All right.
Are you Uber Eats
No,
or are you DoorDash?
Neither. I'm in the restaurant. It's my restaurant. I'm here waiting for my food. I saw.
I'm with you because they cut in front of us
Okay.
to go into the restaurant.
That's
Before you
annoying.
Before you do this, I went into a local popular chain, not local, but a popular chain on one of these days. I think it was Saturday night, and picked up some food. And then there's a whole DoorDash line where people come in. And apparently on this person's DoorDash instructions in the notes column, there was a note to check to make sure everything is in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
But they seal up the bag with the stickers. So
Yeah.
there was this whole argument between the person behind the counter and the person picking up the DoorDash about what they should do, because the note said, please make sure everything is there. And they were like, well, that's why we put the seal on it, to make sure nobody does open the bag. And so that became a thing, and it prevented me from getting my food even sooner after that. Anyway, keep going.
DoorDash
what's the
or Uber
ethics?
Eats picks up the food, comes to your house, knocks on the door, drops your food off, but asks to use your bathroom.
No, absolutely not. No chance.
Sorry.
No.
Why'd you think about it?
Because it's a nice thing to do for them to use. I mean, they just got to use the bathroom.
No. Hit up
I've
the
been on a
convenience
run
store down the
before.
road.
I've been on a 9-mile run before, and in mile 7, I had to go like there was no other. And I knocked on a door, and I begged and I pleaded, and they let me in, and I used the bathroom. And it was very nice of them to do.
Wow.
I agree. I know where you're coming. I agree. I would be a no, but I would look at him. I probably would have folded because I'd be looking there. I wouldn't say it right away. I'd probably be like, meh, and then I probably would give in.
Ideally, if I'm ever doing that, they're just leaving the food on my doorstep, and I'm not.
What is the worst thing that is it just a sanitary issue as to why you wouldn't let them use the bathroom, or are you afraid like they're going to steal or they're going to break
it's
into
not
your
any
house?
of that. They
Murder.
probably won't. It'll probably work out just fine.
Murder.
But it's just the principle. You're not coming into my house.
Okay.
I think there's some sanitary, and also you never know.
I'm not a homeowner, so I wouldn't really know the.
I mean, I made a crucial mistake when I was like 9 and was
Sure.
like, Mom went to the grocery store real quick. Grocery store was about 10 minutes away. She was coming right back. You know, where you had the young men that dressed up and rode bikes around your neighborhood.
Yes.
Came to your door.
You let one in?
I let both of them in. And so
To do what?
Well, because
They were trying to explain to you about the Church of Latter-day Saints?
Yes. And I was like, I was more enamored because the book they had. And so
Really? Oh,
so
wow.
they're like, they didn't even ask, like, are your parents home? They were like, hey, I don't know what their names were. They said, we're from
John.
Latter-day
Josiah.
Saints, and we'd like to tell you more about our mission. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I let them come in the house. Now I was 9. And so they're sitting in our front room in the 2 chairs. And the look my mom gave me when she walked in the door, and there were 2 strangers in our house.
Yeah, that's a bad deal.
And she knows what they are because they'd been all over our neighborhood. She was like, you got to go. You got to go. But I also made a mistake during a garage sale where somebody that was buying stuff at a garage sale had to go use the facilities. And I'm like, yeah, no problem.
What do you got in the back there?
Nope.
What happened?
If I'm
They clogged you?
My mom got a little upset.
they clogged. Yeah.
No, now that would be, but that would be a fear.
If I'm the DoorDash driver or whatever, like I don't even want. Why would you even want to ask? I'd pick a different bathroom. You have the whole world at your fingertips.
So the video that's viral is the guy comes up to the door and he goes, "Hey, I really, really got to go. Can I use your bathroom?" And the person responds on the Ring door, and they're like, "Absolutely not. Please drop your food and go away." And the guy's like, "I got to go. I got to go." So
and there's this whole argument on Twitter about this.
The video ends with the guy clearly.
Keep in mind, people on Twitter were pro murder.
Oh, he went in the
last
front
couple
yard.
weeks.
Well, he did not. He kind of went before he made it back to his car.
Shoot. See, here's my problem. I am known for clogging toilets. I've
Dear
probably
God.
clogged about.
Oh my!
I clogged 2 toilets. I clogged the ABC 7 toilet, and I clogged the ESPN 1000 toilet. And
that's
then,
old Chicago plumbing.
And
That doesn't
then
count.
I clogged the KLIN basement toilet, which actually
Old
cost them a
again.
lot of money. And then I also clogged my buddy's toilet at his apartment, and he didn't have a plunger, so that was a rough one to get out of. And then I probably clogged my toilet a good 3 times. I'm a clogger.
Congratulations.
It comes out, man. It comes out. I might be a small package, but big clogs.
Eat some greens.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. I definitely need some broccoli and green beans in my diet instead of just the straight Fairlife protein shakes that I've been guzzling.
And just think, there are people that have worked at this place that if they have to go to the restroom, they will drive home in the middle of their shift, even on air, to go to the bathroom and then come back.
Yeah. On air? People on air do that?
Some people have.
Yeah.
They would prefer to go at home than at work.
Yeah, I have no
And so if
problem
you got to go,
going
you got to
work.
go.
We got a nice bathroom facility here at 1620 The Zone.
Do we?
Yeah, we got a nice bathroom here.
I'm not sure we do.
Compared to
It's a little narrow.
I don't think we've taught you yet about the history of what's happened.
I don't want to hear the history.
Okay.
I enjoy my 2 goings a show.
Okay. Wow. What? Oh, okay.
I go
got a little fiber work in there.
Not
I go-
number 2s
no, 2 number 2s.
during the show.
I take one before. As soon as I get here, I take one. I probably take one about at the 8:15 hour.
All right.
What the hell's
What's-
wrong with
what
you?
is going on?
You
I
need
gotta
some
keep-
medical help.
Man, I have a lot of blueberries. I have a lot of yogurt. I make sure that thing is going. My gut is at an all-time high in terms of production. I got a good gut. I go about 4 to 5 times.
I don't
a day.
think that's good. I don't think that's a good thing.
I'm telling you, I'm one of those guys that look at the stool and I go, that's a good stool. And if it's a bad stool, then I tell my doctor, I go, hey, I had a couple iffy ones. Some little green, some little black. It's very serious. You got to take your stool health and your gut health seriously. Got to make sure you're tracking your stools. Sometimes I take pictures. You know, if it's a really bad one, I know I'm seeing a doctor soon. It's all about the gut health.
All right. So everybody, as is tradition here at 1620 The Zone, you know, in the first couple of weeks, they have takes that you come to realize a lot about a person. This is yours.
Yeah.
This is the one that you have to live with.
Yogurt and blueberries, man.
Yogurt
Just got to make sure that you got enough fiber in your system.
How about that Trudeau resigning in Canada? that USA World Junior gold medal.
Hey,
For the second
golden
straight year.
goal.
Yeah.
Did it to him.
Man, they look good. You see, Freebird was their goal song too. It was incredible.
Freebird. Play Freebird.
Play Freebird, Jamie.
All right. Well,
Yeah, on that note, I don't think we can go anywhere from
crossover's
that.
over.
Sorry I brought that topic up. I apologize to the DoorDasher.
Well, how could you have known it would go there?
Yeah.
I stand by my statements. I
Clearly.
stand by 'em, man. I got a good gut.
I wouldn't know you
Yeah.
to do anything else.
Good gut, McMaster.
Hey, one other quick thing, because you were at the men's game on Saturday,
I was.
the Office theme. Didn't go so well, right?
Well, I don't think people got it, you know. It was an interesting game to do it.
What are we doing?
certainly.
Playing white people anthems?
Jeez.
You know, yeah, I'm not gonna comment.
Because wasn't yesterday Nickelodeon Day?
It was Kids Day.
Did they slime anybody?
They didn't slime anybody, but we had a whole bunch of kids. We had a baby race. You know, we did the whole thing. It was good. It was well received. There was a lot of kids there.
If Nebraska would have lost to UCLA on Saturday, the Office theme would have been right up there with the Shim Shams
Oh, man.
You
and
may be right.
the Superstars.
Oh, the Superstars was something else, dude.
you
That
may
is-
be right.
I'll never forget the Superstars.
But I heard
But they won.
I heard the mug was nice that people got when they left.
I was a big line people waiting for their mug. I like how they did it too. They were like, you have to stay after the game to get this mug.
What was the mug of?
I don't know. It said like Nebrasketball 2025 or something like that.
I think it was Retro Herbie.
Okay. Cool.
Well, because you remember, remember when they used to do the students, like they wanted the students to stay till halftime, and then they went and got a T-shirt.
they would pour into the tunnel at like 2 minutes before
Yes.
the end of the first half, and it would look awful on television.
Yeah, all of a sudden the student section would be empty
Yeah.
because everybody was going to get a T-shirt.
Yeah, so they've figured some things out.
I have about 4 of those free T-shirts that are just like workout. They're high quality tees, man. They're good. They're good T-shirts.
Good t-shirts.
Great T-shirts.
I think they should do giveaways when you're exiting.
I think that probably is the
See-
trend, right? If you really, really want it, come to
But
the
like
game.
double zero, like, all right, it's 00. Now we're giving them out because I wouldn't
Like
want
5
to.
minutes to go.
I wouldn't want to give an advantage to people to be like, oh, hey guys, we gotta make sure we get out of our seat with 4 minutes left so we get one of these T-shirts. You know, unless they're giving a T-shirt to every single person. Which
Well, I'd rather have them beat the line to get a mug than beat traffic. You know, if they're
Yeah.
going to get up to beat traffic anyway,
sure.
like it doesn't make a
I don't
difference.
know.
You're leaving the arena.
I like rewarding the people for staying all the way to the end of the game, regardless of the result.
Well, like a bobblehead, like you go to Warner Park, and everybody gets a bobblehead coming in, so you got to sit with that in your seat.
That's right.
Just hold on to your voucher, and when you're out the door, pick up your bobblehead.
Oh, I like that.
It's not a bad idea.
Voucher's a
because
great idea.
you have like
That's
the
what they did for the mugs.
Oh,
The
okay.
Bobby Witt Jr. bobblehead was super popular, and you had collectors that bought tickets, and so they came in 4 tickets, got their 4 bobbleheads, went
Zap
left,
right out.
then stay for the game.
Really?
Just know you're going to get a super mean mug from some people, like not a coffee mug, but like a mug.
I have
Like you're going to get stared out the door.
I have a Wrigley Field 100-year anniversary Babe Ruth bobblehead. That's probably one of my more
Where he's
prized.
pointing?
Yes, where he's pointing. There's one that's out of the box because I wanted to display it in my bobblehead, and then there's one that I've kept in the box, never opened.
Travis says the free shirts we got in 09-10 for Nebrasketball were so bad. Yeah, the ones that were red and they said like red, they just said red zone or something like. Yeah, there has been.
We got
some rough
black
ones.
ones. We got black ones that had really small font that said like "Go Big Red," and it's like if you were like across the way, you could not tell what was that. It would just look like black T-shirts with like the smallest.
I
Font.
like what they did on Saturday. They put the alumni in there because it's still break.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They put the alumni in the student section,
Did-
so they were visible on
did
television, which was
Penn
cool.
State's arena was empty without the students.
I don't think anybody goes to any Big Ten games except for like
hey,
four places.
watching the games
The
on the
West Coast?
like Oregon.
So bad.
People weren't going to the game
That's
at Oregon this
a
weekend.
top 15
I
game.
know. Well, Illinois,
Nobody was
credit to Illinois. Illinois has been, they have a lot of good crowds. And then when Northwestern's good, they have a lot of good crowds as well. But Northwestern's crowds are dependent on the students being there. If the students aren't there for Northwestern.
Like tomorrow night in Iowa City.
Oh, ain't gonna be
it is
nobody
going
there.
to be empty.
Do you think it'll be a lot of people in red there? I know it's a Tuesday. You think that there might be a travel out there to I mean, if there's not a lot of people going to be there?
Maybe.
No snowstorm, probably.
Yeah.
But not enough to make up because it's Carver Hawkeyes $15,000.
Is it a like nice, is Carver Hawkeye like a nice place to watch a basketball game? you
It's
think?
not bad. It's odd because you walk in at the top
Okay. Oh,
and then
Everything's
like
below you.
down like
Oh.
30 rows to get to the court.
okay.
They have good ice cream cones.
Good ice cream
Yeah.
cones at Carver Hark.
I got to go to more college basketball arenas.
All right. Well, you plan out a trip.
I'll plan one out.
And stay out of the bathroom.
They did. I mean,
That's
I don't know. You never know, man.
That's the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Monday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Monday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer and Josh Odson with you. Welcome, everybody. Breaking news in the entertainment world. Zendaya and Tom Holland are engaged. TMZ's got the exclusive.
Oh, that's wonderful. Love it for those kids.
They got the exclusive that they have very intimate details of Tom proposed to Zendaya somewhere in America.
Somewhere in America.
Somewhere in the United States.
That eliminates 5/6 of the world.
At some point in between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay.
All right.
We're
So
narrowing it down.
Stay tuned. This is a developing story. And of course, we'll check out TMZ for the latest.
Wow, excited for those kids.
So welcome to the show, everybody. I'm excited to talk about the sports today. It was a big weekend. There's a lot to recap. Ed Foley.
Gone.
Yes.
Whoever could have seen this coming.
But we will, we've been preparing for this / praying for it, if you're some people, for a very, very long time. So we'll talk about there are negatives to losing Ed Foley.
Oh, I mean, we don't get those tweets anymore.
No, I know we don't. I think there was a whole Twitter account at one point dedicated to is he fired yet? And so that Twitter account can now stand down and rest. Also, Thomas Fidone. Do you know Thomas Fidone announced that he was not coming back to Nebraska? Because I didn't actually see it. I just saw some news articles from local people, and they were like, Thomas Fidone's not coming back. And I'm like, that seems really vague and not at all specific. And so I had to do some digging around, and he apparently posted a Threads.
A Threads?
He posted a Threads.
Wow, the cowardice.
And the Threads wasn't like, hey, I'd like to thank everybody for my time and, the coaches and this and Nebraska will always be home to me, but it's time for me to go spread my wings elsewhere. No, none of that. It was a Threads of a peace sign emoji and a couple pictures of his time here.
Wow.
So everybody took that to be he is not coming back to Nebraska. Now, as of right now, I do not believe his name is in the NCAA transfer portal.
Okay, he's not done the paperwork.
So
now we're not allowed to talk to him because he told us to shush, but someone should tell him.
He wants us to be quiet. Maybe we could do a quiet interview with him.
Oh, where will we replace those 0 touchdowns he scored this year?
Okay, so this is something I want to talk about during the show today. Thomas Fidone was a huge lightning rod during his time here. Why? I'm sure Josh has thoughts. I mean, Josh is like, I have an answer for you. Just hold it.
Holding it.
Nebraska got to transfer Marquez, Watson, Trent out of the portal. Hot take. I like dudes who have triple-digit tackle seasons in each of the last 3 years.
Oh, so it's not just one good. No, it's triple
digits for each of the last 3 years.
Wow. That sounds good.
The Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year.
You can play
this past year, so he'll plug right in there for Nebraska. Nebrasketball fans continue to be triggered, even though their team is good and the opposing coach gave them a compliment.
Just the weirdest fan base.
Creighton lets one slip against Marquette. Yeah, you're gonna want that one.
But I mean,
you played well enough generally to win.
I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry.
So you're only going to play well enough to win in those games. A percentage of the time in the big ones.
That could have been ugly, okay.
You. I don't know if you had it, but you had a chance. That's for sure. Happy Black Monday in the NFL. Many coaches being, well, actually not that many coaches being fired today. Black Monday is kind of gone. Everybody gets fired early.
Yeah.
And or is a dead man walking? They just get fired on Sunday afternoon, apparently now. And then a lot of people get retained.
A lot of PR companies whipping up graphics for, we're keeping this bum that you hate.
How do we spin this? Because this graphic is going to get ratioed.
Remember when Dayball drove to work in that truck and you loved him?
Yeah,
Well, he's going to keep driving that truck here every day.
that's good. It's a good idea. Big time ouch by the Minnesota Vikings last night.
Whew.
Where are all the narratives from the people who are football fans? Who's like, well, these are two incredibly good teams, 14-win teams, and we put it on game 272 in the Sunday Night Football. It's the last game of the regular season, and it was a blowout. I think we have a problem with the seeding. I think we have a problem with scheduling in the NFL.
I explained the stakes to my wife, and she was very confused why the loser would be the 5 seed.
Oh yeah. I was super fired up before that game. I was all the way into the Carrie Underwood song, which had a little bit of like a remix last night.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of getting ready for Sunday Night Football when it's a big game, especially a game like that last night. So they do the Carrie Underwood song, and Carrie Underwood's holding the note, Sunday night, and then it just slips down, and then up comes the aerial shot of the stadium. Yeah, exactly. And Tarico's like, welcome to Minneapolis. It's really cold.
And you know he's a nerd, so you know he's going to call it game 272.
100%. He said in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last night. That is one of my favorite parts of the week. One of my favorite individual moments of the entire week.
My favorite part of Sunday night, and this happens, I would say, probably 8 times a NFL season. I tune into Football Night in America at 7 o'clock and wonder, when the hell does this football game start?
7:25, right?
Why do I forget that so much?
Carrie Underwood starts at like 7:15. You're like, wow, we got to be almost there, right? No, we got 2 more commercial breaks. We got a hole open. Collinsworth's got to say some stuff.
There's a built-in Geico commercial that you're not sure if it's content or a commercial.
The Jeff Daniels thing hadn't happened yet.
Yep, that's right.
The Jeff Daniels monologue open, which maybe delayed the game a couple minutes last night.
Is this what destiny feels like?
It wasn't Morgan Freeman, but I thought it was good.
Oh, it's great.
And I thought if one team would blow the other team out, I kind of thought it was going to be Minnesota. But
it's amazing how simple Detroit made it look.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't have a secondary. What if we just blitz the hell out of them?
And
okay.
we are back to worrying about Sam Darnold and the viability of Sam Darnold in the postseason.
It's happening.
Ouch. My man was not comfortable last night.
Well,
not very comfortable.
If
Josh.
the Vikings would just sign a 12-foot receiver, they'd be fine.
Yeah, he definitely would have hit some 12-foot receivers last night. For sure. We'll take a look at the NFL playoff slate. What a 5 days in a row we have of meaningful football games starting on Thursday. Playoff game, Super Wild Card weekend 3 days in a row. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Wow. Can you believe it?
I can't believe this is my life.
Yeah.
LeBron meme.
As much as I would love the CFP semifinals to be on Saturday as God intended, I mean, you'd be stupid. You'd be stupid to go up against the NFL.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to do it. So we'll settle for a Thursday night and a Friday night.
I'll take it.
In college football. The FCS title game is tonight, if anybody's interested in that.
People forget.
It's there. We will taunt the snow.
Bold move, Connor.
And
I don't love it.
I will tell you a story about how the city of Lincoln had the gall to mess with Connor Happer this weekend.
Oh my!
How dare they?
I don't like you messing with my guy.
Oh yeah, they've messed with me.
Okay,
they've messed with me. I don't think I have appealed very many things in my life, but I am appealing something.
Whoa.
Yeah. We'll explain as we go on throughout the show. Mike Schaefer, Sam McKewon, that's the lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We'd like to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josh Show at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today. Mike says, I can't wait for Josh to grunt the slate this week.
They can't all be Home Alone 2.
No, but maybe they can.
Oh, maybe.
Actually, there's some wild card weekend. We're excited for it. It's the playoffs.
Commanders Bucks.
We're not always.
Commanders Bucks.
They're not all winners. So maybe the bar is just upped this weekend. Speaking of the Equitable Bank inbox, John emails in there.
Hi, John.
How excited is Josh knowing that Shedeur Sanders is going to be his team's starting quarterback next season?
Look, that would be a nightmare scenario. There are at least two people I'd rather have before Shedeur. Also, I'd rather them trade out of the pick than draft Shedeur.
Okay.
Cam Ward and Travis Hunter would be my two.
I think if you're anybody, you'd like Travis Hunter on your team.
Yeah. They really need a quarterback though.
Yeah, you kind of have to take care of that.
I don't know
don't
that
you?
Cam Ward is like the franchise changing quarterback, but Travis Hunter's very good.
Yeah. Headley writes in.
Hi, Headley.
Connor appears to have a freshly shaven head today. Great way to start the week. The week. So I did. I cut it down as I normally. I do this like every 3 or 4 days now.
Wow.
But I've started to experiment now with the razor a little bit.
Okay.
The next time I do it, because Sauter has been yelling at me for like years now. He's like,
he's got a good skull.
He's like, time to take the razor to that thing. You won't regret it. And I'm like, I can't do it yet. I can't do it yet. I don't really have a reason. I just can't do it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting closer. Just let me do this on my own time. Okay.
Sure. You'll get there.
It's difficult. All right. We're off and running here on a Monday. We'll come back. Plenty of things to get into today. Schaefer will join us at the bottom of the hour. Mike Schaefer, the parent of a champion child already.
How does he feel about his quarterback?
I think he probably feels better about his child than his quarterback.
Okay.
At this point.
Sure.
But I don't know. Maybe Schaefer's he's just rolling with it. He's rolling with the punches. You know, he's like, I'm going to support my guy. I talked a lot about him and how good he was throughout the season. I can't just throw it all in the trash can after one horrific Sunday Night Football performance in game 272 in the most important game of the season.
Well, he had that whole, not a diatribe last week, but his whole argument last week was, well, okay, which NFC quarterback do you trust?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to some extent, he was right.
Well, we'll see how he feels today.
Yeah.
All right, we're back after this on a Monday on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Charles comments in on YouTube.
Hello, Charles.
Is producer Josh wearing a Mighty Ducks jersey? Josh, every time you come into work, you're wearing so many colors. You are our most colorful employee
I do like colors.
here at 1620 The Zone. You also have the most random stuff.
I do have
So-
random stuff.
What's going on?
This is a Christmas gift my wife got me. She got me
It's great. I mean, it's objectively awesome.
Mighty Ducks jersey from the movie, the original movie.
Only you, I think, would have the guts to wear it around work. And
Well, it's very cold out, and this is very warm.
okay,
It's a nice heavy
mean,
sweater.
a lot of people have sweaters and hoodies and
Those aren't
quarter
fun.
zips.
This is fun.
That is fun. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
very fun. And then a USA baseball hat.
Yeah, I didn't know what hat to wear with.
There's
this, I'll
never
be
you
honest.
have to understand this about Josh. Like there's rarely ever like a theme. It's just like, yeah, this jersey is cool. I feel like I'm gonna make a thing out of this today. This is gonna be awesome.
Now,
What's the name on the back?
Charlie Conway.
Not Conway Twitty?
No, not Conway Twitty.
Okay.
My wife's favorite Mighty Duck is Joshua Jackson because she had a crush on him as a child.
Who didn't?
Well, she loves the skulls.
Why didn't you go with the why didn't you go with the goalie?
Goldberg?
Yeah, Goldberg, the fat kid
I don't know.
who turned into like a crackhead in real life.
Yes, he's
He's
recovered.
rehabilitated
Yes,
himself.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Very
could-
nice, charming, heartwarming story. No, she picked
It's
the
good jersey.
captain. She picked the
You
captain.
got to go with the captain. That's you. You wear that C in your chest proudly.
Good work, Captain Duck.
You're the captain of this show, Josh.
Well, many are saying.
I think I've
for some
seen
reason.
the Mighty Ducks once, maybe twice.
Have you seen any of the sequels?
D2? Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Is there D3?
There is a D3. They go to a prep school.
No chance I've seen that.
Okay.
No chance. I've seen
You're not missing much with that one.
Why do they play them all? Why do they? You don't have to do that. The kids are grown up, they're doing their own thing. They're in other movies and stuff like that. We don't have to do D3.
Oh, no, they went to like high school in D3. Like,
Yeah.
it was pretty much right after the second one.
Okay. All right.
And then there was a series like a couple of years
You
ago.
don't have to do a third
No,
movie in
no.
the series. It's really a stretch to do two. I don't know if
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks, I'm not speaking about that in particular because I don't know what happened in D3 at all. Was it good? Did you enjoy it? Was it just better there for the nostalgia?
It had its moments.
Okay. All right. Gordon Bombay,
Not in that one.
where did he go?
Glorified cameo. Well, I believe he had felt he was
He had outgrown the
good.
team?
Too good.
Did he go off and coach in the NFL or something like that?
I'm Martin Sheen's son. There's no way I could be in the third Mighty Ducks movie.
All right, we have opinions on D3 Mighty Ducks here from Sam on Twitter.
Okay.
See, I have issues with D3 because in D2, Charlie is bad enough that he gets scrubbed to make room for Ross. In D3, suddenly he's one of the best Ducks.
Okay. That's a good take.
Russ, not Ross. Russ.
That did happen.
Well, you ever heard of development?
It would be a big swing. Wow, just a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes for D3.
Not surprising. Not surprising. But I don't know. I don't want to speak on Mighty Ducks. I'd like to speak a little bit about my weekend, Josh.
Okay, please.
All right. So, first of all, how about that snowstorm?
Mm.
You can't touch us. You can't touch us. Saturday, I'm in Lincoln. There's this buzz about, even Friday, there's this buzz about town. The city is preparing for their first big snowstorm in a long time, or even moderate snowstorm in a long time.
Yeah.
And as we know, Lincoln is horrendous at handling snowstorms. I don't think they own a snowplow. I went there on Sunday and we got no snow, really at all. And the streets were covered with snow and slush. It was ridiculous.
Okay.
Lincoln is horrendous at this. I've said this for a very long time. But there was a buzz about town. I think we're going to get probably, I heard 3 to 6. I heard 4 to 8. I heard 6 to 10. I heard many numbers that were being thrown out there, making me think, boy, travel is going to be really difficult because I went to Lincoln and back three times in 3 days, the last 3 days. This is going to make life really hard for me. And then what do you know? There's definitely some snow falling in Lincoln on Saturday. And then I drive back because it's normal. People are taking it a little bit slow, but it's normal. And then once you get basically outside of Waverly, there's like a truck stop up there on the hill. Nothing. Yukon Cornelius. Nothing. Not a single flake of snow.
Ooh.
Omadome comes in clutch again. And I know Kansas City got pounded. They got smoked.
They did.
There's no KC Dome. Omadome for the win. Comes through for us again. And really kind of LNK Dome as well, if you're into that sort of thing. So
I've heard some rumblings about an LNK dome.
Some snowstorm. That's all I got to say. Second thing about the city of Lincoln. All right. So I have to come clean, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the game on Saturday at Pinnacle Bank Arena, I met some people pregame to have a bite to eat and a beverage.
Classic.
Parked out in front of and patronized Buzzard Billy's, a lovely bar in the Haymarket in Lincoln. A great brunch going on. I had a waffle.
Hello.
It was delicious. And I parked my car there. And I left it there. And it's a 2-hour parking spot. And I knew that I earned a $10 parking ticket. I earned it. I was going to pay it.
Okay.
Right. I didn't want to pay the meter and, worry about it and come back. And people will be like, oh, you can do it on your phone, whatever. You can just keep doing it all day long. Whatever. I'll just deal with it. I'll pay the $10 on the backside on the internet. And so that was my plan. So I fully expected to come back to my car after the Nebrasketball game on Saturday afternoon with a ticket on my windshield. And I did. But there was 2 tickets. One was for the $10 parking violation, which I admittedly committed.
Okay.
The second one was because I did not have my December tags put on my car yet. It was January 4th. I did not know that they could even do this. But my tags were technically expired. But I had bought my registration. I just hadn't put I hadn't put the stickers on my license plates yet.
Okay.
And so they slapped an extra $100
Hello.
on this.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is going on? I didn't know that you guys were an arm of the law here. Also, I've paid my registration. I'm a registration paying person in the state of Nebraska, proudly, by the way, as much as it hurts the bank account and things like I'm paying.
Yeah.
All right. It's ready to go. It's January 4th. I haven't put the stickers on my car yet. It's cold in my garage. I got shorts on. I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt. I don't want to go out into my garage and put the tags on yet. All right. It's just hard. And so I hadn't. That's my excuse. And 4 days into January, they slap a $100 fine on me for not having the tags in my car in an illegal parking spot.
I've had a warning on my car before.
So this led me to my very first appeal.
Ooh.
I am now into the appeals process. All I can say is, because I don't want to speak much, because this is an ongoing investigation.
That's right.
Even though I just explained the entire thing.
Don't want to comment publicly.
Thank God that this wasn't the UNL police, the UNL parking enforcement, because those guys are ruthless.
Oh.
I think I'm going to win my appeal.
Oh, wow.
With updates to follow.
Confidence is high.
I think I'm going to win. I don't know that anybody appeals thinking they're not going to win their appeal.
Sure.
But I'm not doing it just for the books, right? I'm not doing it just to say, well, I disagree with this. No, I disagree, and I think I should win the appeal. All right. So this is a Connor Happer Show investigation. Steve writes in.
Hi, Steve.
Connor Happer, known criminal.
Wow.
Parking criminal, I guess.
A scofflaw.
Yeah.
Smitty Werben Jaegerman Jensen.
Okay.
Says, I can represent you in a lawsuit, Connor, pro bono.
You got it. You're my guy, Smitty Werben Jaegerman Jensen. Headley writes in, Connor, I hope you write a book about this. New York Times bestseller written all over it. I know. I couldn't believe it. I said $100. Where am I? Los Angeles? This is ridiculous.
That's pretty.
I mean, that's
steep
objectively
for-
ridiculous, right?
Yeah. What you said it was the 4th?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Better Call Saul this thing, and I'm going to get all the people of Omaha, Nebraska to write letters to the people at Park and Go in Lincoln and vouch for my outstanding personality traits and say how good of a person I am, like they did for Huel in Coushatta, Louisiana. Just saying.
Greed. This is just plain and simple greed on the city of Lincoln's part.
It is.
Don't you have enough?
Back after this, we'll talk about Ed Foley, the Nebraska special teams situation, coming up on 1620 The Zone. right, it's 11 o'clock. Now, is it 11 o'clock when the AP poll comes out, or is it noon? I think football, the AP poll comes out at 11. Because remember, we would come back from this segment and it'd be like, talk about the AP poll.
Yeah, everybody would be like, talk about the AP poll. Talk about the AP poll. And we're like, why would we talk about the AP poll?
We talk about the AP poll. No, but there will be discourse about the AP poll today. Because people, we got a little hint of the Nebrasketball fever around here. And it's come early. It's early. Isn't it early for Nebrasketball fever?
I would say so.
It usually hits in like February, and you start mapping out, all right, what do they need to do in the last like 10 games to make the NCAA tournament? People have Nebrasketball fever early this year. And so with that fever comes the constant need for validation by others.
Tell us we're good.
Please.
Tell us so.
Please tell us we're good, including from McKewon, the Associated Press poll, any people around the Big Ten, people who talk about basketball around the country, Andy Katz, Lenardi. These people must tell Nebraska that they are good. They must do that. And so the next illustration that we have of this will be the Associated Press poll, where Nebraska has beaten a top 15 team now over the weekend. And they would like to be told that they are one of the best 25 teams in the country, which they may be, regardless of what the poll says. But we'll find out whenever that is released. But get ready for the discourse, Josh. It's coming.
I know you're right, but I don't want you to be right.
Headley asks why Ken Palm hates Nebraska.
Oh, Connor, care to comment?
I say Ken Palm loves Nebraska.
Loves Nebraska.
Ken Palm has Nebraska at 33. Which is notably not in the top 25,
right.
Which is what I think Headley is talking about.
Johnny Fanta has him at 24.
Johnny Fanta, the king of the Big East. Ken Palm says that Nebraska's defense is the 10th best in the country.
Wow.
America. Josh?
The whole country. There's like 8,000 schools that play basketball.
There are so many
country of
schools. And they say that Nebraska has one of the top 10 defenses in the country. Now, as Headley follows up, if you look at the Ken Palm game-to-game deal here,
oh yeah, okay,
they don't like Nebraska's chances in in 3 out of their next 4. Through all 3 of the games that Ken Palm has projected Nebraska to lose are on the road. Iowa tomorrow, Purdue on Sunday, and Maryland a week from Sunday. Ken Palm has them losing all of them. I don't know.
New AP poll not out yet. I'm sorry.
It's not out yet?
No, not yet.
You just breaking news. It's not out.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. They do have them winning 1 out of their next 4. I think if Nebraska could find 2 out of their next 4, they will be fine. You know, that's what it's all about. You win a couple games at home, and if you have a chance to win one on the road, we'll talk about this with Creighton later. If you have a chance to win one of those big games on the road against good teams, you better take advantage of it. Creighton let one slip. Yeah.
Steal.
The road steals. That's why we put them in there like that. And I don't know about the Big Ten. I'm not sure about what the Big Ten is this year. I guess
down.
Well, I don't like comparatively to its past. It's like exactly the same, but there's no Purdue. Like there's no Zach Edey Final Four caliber team here. I don't think. I mean, maybe one makes a run there, but Illinois is the torchbearer at the moment. And I don't know that anybody thinks that they're like a national championship contender at the moment. Like Michigan has pretty good metrics. Oregon, people thought highly of Oregon. People think highly of Oregon, and then I watch Oregon. I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm not sure. It pretty much just comes down to Shellstad for them, and that's kind of it. So they got smoked by Illinois on Thursday on the West Coast,
Andy Katz has released his Power 37.
Holy Power 37? What happened? I thought we were at Power 36 with Andy.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Nebraska clocking in at 24.
Okay, that's in the top 25.
Right between Michigan and UCLA.
Oh, but they're in front of UCLA, right?
That is correct.
Oh, thank God.
The discourse.
Save us, please, from the discourse. Headley writes in.
Hi, Headley.
Nothing will stop Nebrasketball from winning it all this year. Fred Hoiberg, national champion. Well, people have started to pay attention to Nebrasketball early enough to where now it feels like it's going to build to the point where they like have to win an NCAA tournament game, which is a little scary.
Just so much pressure.
Yeah. Speaking of, I have a couple different angles that I want to hit this Ed Foley thing here from.
All right.
So Ed Foley is he gone,
just like we told you he would be, but no, what do we know? We're just a bunch of idiots.
Now, here's the question. Is he going to be around in some capacity? That we don't know yet.
Possible.
I possible, maybe even plausible. I genuinely don't know which way the wind is blowing on that situation. Feels like, if he wants to keep going, a clean break would be necessary. But I think there's a lot of positive things that Ed Foley brought to the table. Things that were not talked about prior to the removal of him as a special teams coordinator. Obviously, for the primary role of being a special teams coordinator at Nebraska, it did not click. But I will continue to remind people that it has not clicked in a while.
Not exclusively an Ed Foley problem.
That is a great way to put it. I also want to mention here what Ed Foley most certainly did bring to the table. And we saw some examples of it over the weekend when we saw many people from around the state, high school coaches, people involved with Nebraska high schools who sort of lamented. They said, yeah, Ed Foley really did it different than a lot of the other coaches who have tried to build relationships. Coaches who had been hired at Nebraska and really didn't have Nebraska ties and were in charge of building relationships with Nebraska high schools and Nebraska athletes. And Ed Foley did it kind of the old school way. Like, I'm going to show up at your high school and I'm not even here to recruit anybody. I just want to say hi. I'd like to eat at your town's most popular restaurant. I'd like to drink a Mountain Dew. I'd like a scone, whatever it might be. And then we'll drive on to the next town. We'll take a picture. We get all the pictures that you want. But it wasn't about that. It was actually about building the relationships with the people at the individual high schools. And I think that is another thing that is sort of evolved and changed. Honestly, that piece of Nebraska's job, it's fascinating. It becomes a lot less important with Nebraska's lack of a walk-on program. Right? Now, I want Nebraska to continue, the University of Nebraska, the football program, to continue to have relationships and build those with whether it's Western Nebraska schools or Omaha or Lincoln or, Columbus or Grand Island or whatever it might be. Like, you still want that and you still need that just to feel the connection throughout the state. But don't you think the shift in college football now with the roster limits and just Nebraska, Nebraska routinely had 20, 30, 40 kids on their roster who were really good players at the high school level in the state and maybe could have gone elsewhere or maybe couldn't have, but definitely just really wanted to wear the Nebraska red and be scout team players and, do their college career that way and play football at the same time getting an education at Nebraska. That whole thought process, it can't almost exist anymore. Nebraska can't take those players anymore. They can't take all of them anyway. You still get 105, which is 20 more than the 85 scholarships you were limited before. So there's kind of a walk-on program, but you want to make the most out of your 105. You can't just take guys because they're from Burwell, right? Sorry, shout out Burwell.
You're only going to have a very few select handful of those types of guys because you really see a flash or two in them.
Right. And it's not even about that. Like, it's not even about like, oh, maybe one day one out of these 60 people over 2 years or, 100 people over 4 years will become all conference. Like you don't do it thinking of that.
Mm-hmm.
You take them because you want to have a big program, and that's how Nebraska's sort of always done it. That's changing. Everybody's going to have the same size of program, and everybody will be under the same limitations. And I hope that doesn't disconnect the state's football program from the state too much. Anyway, I think it will a little bit, but I hope it doesn't. And Foley really represented that. I think he did a really good job with that. And once again, you saw it from over the weekend. Many of the area coaches, parents, people who are involved with high school football programs in smaller towns said, yeah, man, this guy really did it. You know, he did what he said that they were going to do. He didn't just come in here and say, hey, we're going to lock down the borders, or we're going to care about everything, like he did.
I mean, he showed it on Twitter. Like, I'm at this school. I'm at this school. I'm at this school. Always taking pictures of his travels. And
right.
I mean, he was boots on the ground doing it himself.
So I don't know. What sort of happens next at that job. By the way, but before we move on to another arm of this topic, here is a text from or a tweet, from Mitchell on the JTech Constructions on Twitter feed.
Hello, Mitchell.
Is it considered recruiting if a staff member just goes and meets with high school coaches? Why can't we just have a staff member building relationships with schools? Well, it's not recruiting. Like it's not technically. I mean, it is technically recruiting. It falls under the umbrella of recruiting, but it's more just relationship developing, right? And so, to answer the question of why couldn't we just have another staff member do it and build relationships with schools, you have to have a person who wants to do it, and it is their personality. Like Ed Foley just was. he fit that.
Hey, how you doing?
Look at him.
You got a guy?
Yeah, he wanted to shake hands with everybody and meet everybody. You go up to him at a baseball game or a basketball game. He's like, yeah, let's. What's your story?
Tell me about your best guy.
It's old school. But no, it's not even that. Like it doesn't even have to be about football. It's
sure.
Like, I'm Ed Foley. I like hamburgers. You know.
What do you guys got around here?
Right.
What do you got for burgers?
I want to learn about your town. So you have to have a person who. You have to have the infrastructure to say, like, all right, we can have an entire a full person on the staff who wants to do this and cares about doing it, and it's worth it for us to do it. And I don't know that any of those things exist anymore, right? If Ed Foley is gone. So
bummer that there's room to have a guy like that on your staff, but now you might not need that guy on your staff.
I know. Yeah, it's interesting that way. So there's definitely a shift. Second thing, people, as is tradition, when Nebraska has a either coordinator opening or a position coach opening,
and Ndamukong Suh,
they have already hired either Bill Bush or Mike Eckler, it appears, for this job.
I don't know that that's going to happen, everybody.
It might. I don't know. I have no opinions on who Nebraska's special teams coach should be. If you have an opinion on this, get a life. You shouldn't have opinions on this.
Yeah.
You don't know what, like, Nebraska's special teams have been horrible over many coaches now. Many coaches have tried and many coaches have failed. There's no guarantees as to what works or what doesn't work or what kind of personality you need or what kind of coach. Oh, we need a coach who's done it before. We need a coach who has experience. Okay, I hope that works. Ed Foley had a lot of experience running special teams. It just didn't work, right? So, like, I have no opinions on this. I have no opinions. Will it be either of those two people who have previously coached special teams at Nebraska before and had a modicum of success to come along with it? Maybe. I don't know. I have no opinions on it. I think if they hired either of those people, it would be fine. If they hired neither of those people, it would also be fine. What do you think of that? I know it's a tepid opinion, but it's wrapped up in a strong opinion. It's a strong opinion box with a soft opinion inside.
I just want better players.
Yeah. Let's get better, I guess. And so here's the other thing with the job. I'm not gonna go so hard in the paint because I was hammering my keyboard last night typing this out.
Ooh.
And I was like, wow, I have a strong opinion on this, and I didn't even realize this. But I'm not going to say it as hard as I typed it out. Are we sure that Nebraska's special teams coach is a good job?
A lot of punting. Big Ten loves punting.
Think about it. It comes with more scrutiny than any other special teams job in the country, bar none. Bar none at this point.
Does. Oh my God.
Everyone knows who Nebraska's special teams coach is going to be. I don't know if that's the case hardly anywhere else. Like, who's our special teams coach? And why is it stink all the time? We need to fire this guy.
Stupid questions? Drink up.
You will clearly get fired, in a moment's, like, Ed Foley and Matt Rule, the relationship that was like the most fortified with steel, these two, like, and Marcus Satterfield for that matter. Both of those two had a really, really tough time. Gone. And I don't know that they don't. I'm sure that they have good relationships still, but it would have had to taken a lot for Matt Rule to fire Marcus Satterfield, for Matt Rule to fire Ed Foley, and it happened, right? And I do think a part of why it happened is because of the noise. Like, Nebraska was at a point where they couldn't continue on with Ed Foley as their special teams coordinator.
Yeah,
everyone says that. Like, I agree. It wasn't working, and you couldn't continue down that road because it was just going to get really, really ugly and contentious. And so that is a thing that I don't think exists anywhere else. Or I shouldn't say anywhere else, but in a lot of other places, many other places. Nobody has had success doing that exact job lately. And I will add that Nebraska's contemporaries, you just mentioned how the Big Ten loves punting, but not only do they love punting, Josh, they're good at punting.
Yeah.
And they're good at receiving and their kicks and punts. And they're good at all these little detail pieces. Many of the teams in the conference are really good at this. It is the Big Ten. It is part of the Big Ten's edge. It is discipline, and it's having all of that piece of your team straight in place of high level talent, unless you're Ohio State. But even they're good at it, right? In place of high level talent, like the SEC says it has, the Big Ten's like, we're just going to be really good at every detail. We're not going to turn the ball over. We're going to be really good on defense. We're not going to allow touchdowns, and we're going to be good at special teams. You have to be good at this in order to have success. And so how good you are is not only it's not only based on internally how you view your own special teams. It should be just good, right? If it had been just good, then Nebraska would have won a lot more games. But it needs to be taken in context of what the other teams do and how difficult they make it for you to be good at special teams. Right? So the bar is higher. Nebraska needs to be good at special teams, not for only their own sake. It's because everybody else is better at them than at it. So it's a hard job. In my opinion, it's a hard job. And I don't think it's a very attractive job, if we're being honest. I think it's attractive to work at Nebraska. I think it's attractive to work with Matt Rule. I look at it and I say, ooh, how many coordinators over how many years and how many times has it been bad? And who's your biggest rival? Iowa. They're the best team at it in the country, so you're constantly going to be compared to them. That feels like a situation where I am set up to fail. I'm in a bad place. That doesn't it?
Big fishbowl for sure.
Yeah. Yes. So
kind of need a guy that has a lot of swagger about him, has a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, like, all it takes is you just have to be good at it, right? Like, okay, whatever, all of it, and that's what all of the coaches think. They're like, well, that's what Matt Rule thought when he took the job, the head coach job. He's like, I know other coaches have failed, but I'm going to do it. So you gotta have some chest about you.
Just have to snap the ball,
right? Just do it right. Yeah. All right, easier said than done. Easier said than done. So it is paramount that Nebraska gets this right. Now, and I'm not talking about the hire. I'm talking about special teams in general, because the Matt Rule's future hinges on it partly. They have to get this right. And so that is, I think there's a lot of coaches out there who are competitors, and they would say, hell yeah, sweet, sign me up. That sounds like an awesome gig. a place where people care, and a place where you have access to talent, and like you have like great, sign me up. But then I think that they would probably think differently after they get run out of town in 2.5 years or 1.5 years or a half a year, whatever it might be. It's hard. It's a hard job for a lot of different reasons. And that's why I don't think it's very attractive. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how attractive it is. It doesn't. It doesn't matter how attractive the job is because it's never going to be about one guy to fix it, to come in and overhaul the whole thing. That's why I always talk about hires in this way. It's not specifically and exclusively about the person that you put in charge to do it, right? It includes so many other things. It includes context. It includes who the other people, who the players that you're working with are. It includes the rest of the coaching staff. So it's never going to be about one guy. But at the end of the day, you are the guy. You are responsible for it. And that person is the person who gets run out of town, not the other people. That's why it's a hard job.
Not a lot of other college football markets doing a segment today on their special teams coordinator.
No. I would say none. Poll question. Are there any?
Maybe in Tuscaloosa. I don't know how their special teams
I think they got
up.
bigger fish to fry at this point. Yeah. Yep. Headley writes in.
Hi, Headley.
We could have been average if we simply had a competent long snapper, Connor. Yeah, see, I actually don't think that. People do that. People say, oh, we could have been this if we had a good kicker. Could have been this if we had a good punter. And Nebraska had a good punter this year. Nebraska had a plus punter for the majority of the year this year.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's that. I disagree with that statement.
More than just the long snapper.
Nebraska was horrendous because it had a bad snapper this year.
Yes.
Nebraska was still bad at special teams.
Yes.
Punts getting blocked all over the place.
Weekly.
No returns. Idiotic decisions in the kick return game. Kickers still kicking the wrong direction in the wrong space on kickoffs. Long snapper don't fix those things, man. Right? So, yeah, I disagree. All right, we're back after this. Let's talk more about the special teams.
Okay.
Right?
2 segments.
And more. And baby races. With Mike J. Schaefer of Husker 247 coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Here come the Guardians.
Yeah, I have statistics to back up that we have people that listen.
Mike Schaefer.
Anytime there's sort of a debate as to who can do something, Happer would always put his name forth, for sure.
Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I could be a star.
All right, here we go. We're joined now on the phone by one Mike J. Schaefer of Husker 247. Schaefer, good morning. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Other than, what felt like the end of the Vikings season last night, even though it wasn't. Now I got to see that all over again on Monday for the right to potentially do it all over again in 2 weeks. But other than that, pretty good weekend for the Schaefer. So.
Yeah, well, okay, let's do the Vikings first then. I figured you would be in different spirits than you were a week ago. Did it really crush every piece of spirit that you had watching what you had to watch unfold last night?
It's hard because if you want to spin this like, okay, everyone just had a terrible game. Sam Darnold had a terrible game. Justin Jefferson was uncharacteristically bad. Kevin O'Connell didn't have the great plan against pressure. The offensive line was bad. You can easily spin it like that. And defensively, they gave the offense every opportunity to score points in the first half. And they just didn't take advantage of it. And they did it early in the second half. So you could basically be like, all right, the Vikings had a bad game mostly as a team. And that's not emblematic of who they are. If it's, you got to go through the Lions at some point if you're going to go to the Super Bowl. It felt like the gap is a lot wider than I certainly would have thought based on how last night played out. Every game is going to be different. If they play them again, it would play out in an entirely different way. But it definitely shook confidence that I had because I thought this was a legitimate team. And maybe they still are, but now I'm way more nervous about a game against the Rams than I have any reason.
Now you have to continue to answer very pointed questions about Sam Darnold and his lack of ability to potentially win a playoff game against a good team. What happened to him last night?
Well, he looked tight. His throws were high. He was also under siege. The interior of the offensive line was bad. Detroit did a great job blitzing up the middle and everything else. And, Darnold he missed throws. And then even a bad throw to Jefferson that should have been a touchdown, it just was not Minnesota's night. I don't think that's who Sam Darnold's been in 2024, if that's what the narrative will be, and he's going to have to play a good playoff game to kind of show otherwise. And then if you get another chance against Detroit, he's got to look more like the guy who ripped up the Packers or the Seahawks a couple weeks before in critical situations to prove to people again that it's not the same old Sam Darnold. It's everything's narrative driven, right? So it's going to be reactionary, and the reaction right now is he's no good anymore. I don't think that's true.
Schaefer, has Lil Husker been tested for performance enhancing drugs yet?
No, we never got tested for performance enhancing drugs before the event. There's been nothing after the event. We've never even heard from any people disputing the results. There was some that wondered if perhaps you called it in favor of Hudson because of personal connection, that you ate breakfast with him on January 1st of the new year.
Yeah.
I feel like it was an incredibly close finish, but maybe Hudson tapped the banner just before contestant number 6 would have started her crawl.
According to the video that I have and that everyone else has seen, I think I got it right. At the same time, I will admit that I was completely guessing in the moment.
Yeah, well, look, it was dramatic. It was exciting. It's everything a baby race should be. And we're not going to apologize for wins in baby races. Plus, Hudson announced his retirement. He's focused on walking and spending time with stuffed animals.
Wow. People were wondering, Schaefer, was there like an age limit, or was there a frame that Lil Husker had to fit in to be eligible for the competition?
Basically, your child just needed to be crawling and could not be walking. And Hudson is not walking. And so the joke was that he would have to take his first steps on Pinnacle Bank Arena's floor when he had the chance to win this crawling contest. But I think he was probably the oldest in the contest. There was a lot of 9-month-old babies. He's at 10. But he's not walking quite yet. He's able to meet the parameters.
And then final question, I guess, on this. What did he really pause and sit down on his butt 3 feet before the finish line for dramatic effect? Is this the equivalent of almost dropping the ball before you get to the end zone? Like what happened there in the last few feet?
Yeah, it really felt like he wanted to renegotiate some things in his life. Like he wants a later bedtime, he wants an extra snack, and he just kind of sat down and stared at me for a little bit. I did what my game plan was, and there was no, as far as I know, this wasn't against the rules. It just seems like maybe a little cheap. But before the race, Hudson likes to play around with a hat when I'm wearing a hat. Put the hat on himself or, whatever, wave it around. So we were playing with the hat. And so he's crawling and he's getting close. And it's like, okay.
Schaefer.
Stop, and I'm waving it around. And he finally spots the hat and gets them restarted. So I used the hat as like an inducement. I did the same thing with my cell phone. If you would have just put the cell phone by itself on the other end of the court, he would have been even faster with no pause. So that would have been more exciting for him than anything else. Because really, when he thinks of his dad, he just sees a person on a cell phone. So the cell phone is more valuable.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't know what it is, but my daughter is infinitely more interested in me when I use my laptop and when I pull out my cell phone.
Yeah. No, it I think it says too much in not a positive way about me. That Hudson is definitely most excited about himself. Granted, he loves looking at himself and videos of himself. He's incredibly vain. So there's that.
And now he's got a video for a long time from
he was watching it last night and just giggling. It's hard to know if he even knew what was going on, but he was in it, so that's all he cared about.
Well, congratulations! It was a well-run race, and there's no questions about its viability and how legal it was. So that's good.
Hey, everybody won the prize. It all worked out in the end. It's a really cool thing from the Nest 529 people, and so we're incredibly appreciative because college will be $1 bajillion by the time Hudson.
Next question: Do you like players out of the transfer portal who, in each of their last 3 seasons, have triple-digit tackle numbers?
I generally am in favor of production relative to potential when it comes to the transfer portal. So when it comes to Marquise, Watson, Trent, quite excited about that. I mean, you had a guy who's just going to step in, and it feels like a lot of replacement of John Bullock, even though I don't think they're the same type of player. And I don't know if anyone else would agree with that, but it's just, you're going to go get a productive, steady veteran, and that makes me feel a lot better about Nebraska's second level. And I already felt pretty good, but the nice thing is he's going to come in one season, and it helps set up guys like Christian Jones and Dawson Merritt, whatever else you're going to have going on at that linebacker room. He's not going to take away too much future opportunity. It's a nice bridge player to me. So I think that one's kind of a sneaky big addition.
Me too.
For Nebraska's portal efforts here so far, because as excited as you want to be about Williams, Winery, and some other players, a guy who's gone out and just produced like this, even though it's not at the Big Ten level, it just makes me think he's going to be a steady player for Nebraska next year.
How about Jameer Khan too? It's not as big as the Marquez Watson Trent edition, but another body in the defensive backfield where Nebraska definitely needs some. When you get a guy with some experience back there too, the transfer from Southern Illinois.
Yeah, it adds to what's going to be a really intriguing cornerback battle, right? Like the spring battle at corner opposite of Sierra Wright is going to be kind of loaded. You're going to have a lot of different people vying for playing time. You'll get Fly Hill back. You'll have some of those young corners. Donovan Jones announced himself in the bowl game. You're going to add Khan to that. They've had other defensive backs in, but I'm wondering if Khan sort of, is the corner that you're looking at here, in addition to Andrew Marshall, who's going to be involved in this whole thing. So it's a great depth addition and yet another, Jamar Mosey is really earning his keep. He's out there recruiting today on the road for the first time. The visit period has started. So just kind of exciting how quickly one person's impact has been on Nebraska's roster since July, really. And it's an addition that he played well for the Salukis. Again, I don't think it's a starter, but it's a guy that immediately gives you depth and is going to be fighting along with Andrew Marshall and everyone else at those cornerback spots.
All right, Schaefer, what do you think about Nebrasketball? What's your level of excitement? Because I was explaining earlier, it feels like it's come a little bit early now this year, where people are on the Nebrasketball train. You're always on it. How do you feel about where they're at right now?
Yeah, I don't know if it's that much early because it's right around the same week where they would have beat Purdue last year, and then go play Iowa right after you win one of these games, and we'll find out if they're able to adjust. I think my main theory on this team, and I said this when we were talking on Saturday, and I don't know where you arrive on it, but I think compared to last year's team, they're more capable of winning and playing in different types of games. The game flow doesn't have to go the same way for them. They can play and win ugly in a way that maybe last year's team was less capable of doing. And we saw that on Saturday. I like that they can throw different lineups at people. I like that when Connor Essegian is not helping on the offensive end, that he's leading your plus minus. I think he was a plus 20 on Saturday when he was in. Like, that's pretty remarkable for a guy who's 0 of 6 from the floor. So I just think this team has some different things going for it that'll allow it to survive what's going to be a brutal Big Ten and to be an effective, 7 to 10 seed in the NCAA tournament. I don't think they're a top 5 seed team, but I do think that they're an effective basketball team and will be a tough out for both the Big Ten tournament and March. We'll see how it goes, though. I mean, they have to be able to ride the roller coaster. If they can go get a win at Iowa, that's going to make life a lot easier if you can steal a couple road games in addition to the tough place to play in Pinnacle Bank Arena.
All right, Schaefer. A lot of rock fights left at Pinnacle Bank Arena this year, and we know you'll be there for all of them. We'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one.
Mike Schaefer, Husker 247, who I have now seen. This will be my first day not seeing Mike Schaefer in the flesh since Thursday, and then I saw him on Wednesday, and then wasn't he here on Monday of last week, or was he here on?
Oh wow, time really a blur.
He filled in a day last week,
and then I thought it was Thursday.
And then I went to breakfast with him on Wednesday, and little Husker, little pre-baby race interview there, and then I saw him each of the days this weekend. So I'll miss my dear friend Mike.
It's amazing that you interview each and every baby race contestant just in case they have an endearing story to the public.
Yeah, I went out to breakfast with all of them.
Wow. Nobody else in America is doing that.
Don't check on that, but I went out to breakfast with all of them. All right. Josh has the odd news when we return, but first I'd like to remind you that this week's Zone Deal is to Copal Mexican Cuisine at 129th and Maple, Omaha's best kept secret. Let's make it not that anymore. Omaha's public thing.
Tell everyone.
They also have weekend brunch on both Saturdays and Sundays. Sunday Fun Day, all day happy hour on Sundays. Two $25 vouchers this week for $50, which is a $50 value for just $25. This week's Zone Deal to Copal Mexican Cuisine, and you can find the details on 1620thezone.com.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, a couple portal nuggets here. Former Nebraska receiver and Westside product Jalen Lloyd has committed to Oklahoma State.
That'll go well.
What? Hey, why'd you say it that way?
They haven't won a conference game in forever.
Yeah. But they got a couple Omaha boys on the team.
They do.
If you count Gretna as Omaha.
I do.
Which many do. Also, Iowa is still waiting on a decision from a quarterback that they brought in over the weekend, Mark Gronowski.
The Jacks.
Mark Gronowski, won a couple national championships at South Dakota State, went into the transfer portal, visited Iowa. Iowa missed out on Bo Prabula, as James Franklin would call him. Bo Prabula, the Penn State backup quarterback who controversially entered the transfer portal before the playoff. But they have Brendan Sullivan and some guy named Hank still. So we'll see. We'll see if Mark Gronowski ends up at Iowa.
It's a very Iowa quarterback name.
It is. It is. No doubt about that. All right, Josh, odd news. Let's do it.
NFL incentives for Week 18. A lot of weird things happen to make a lot of players some extra money.
Love money.
Fun moment with Mike Evans at the end of the Bucks game.
Yeah, that was good.
To get him $3 million.
Fantastic.
What a
Mike Evans
innocuous catch for $3 million.
Mike Evans just like consistently one of the best NFL wide receivers of all time.
And we forget about him.
Just like totally below the radar. It's like, well, Mike Evans has just been there.
11 consecutive seasons with 1,000 receiving yards. Only Jerry Rice has done that.
Amazing.
We can skip that. Geno Smith had 3 incentives kick in for $2 million a piece. He needed to cross 4,282 passing yards on the season to hit an incentive. So they were chucking it all over the place. He got 223 yards to beat that incentive.
It's amazing how many times these numbers actually come down to the last game.
Yeah.
Like they're almost like, do they just call Vegas and they're like, hey, what's a good line on Geno? And they just give it to him. They're like, okay, that's your bonus.
That's the number.
Yeah.
Finishing the season with a completion percentage of over 69.755%. Geno Smith had 70.4% completion.
See, that one sucks because once you get that number, you want to just sit on it and just take them out of the game. But you still got other bonuses to worry about.
And winning 10 games also kicked in another $2 million incentive for old Geno there. Check. Literally and figuratively, I guess. Cowboys backup quarterback Cooper Rush did not get a chance to add to his salary.
No.
He was in the second season.
Wonder why.
It could have earned an additional $250,000 by playing 55% of the offensive snaps for Dallas this season.
Jared was like, that has nothing to do with it.
Never heard of this thing.
We didn't play. We definitely love Trey Lance and wanted to start him in Week 18 for no reason.
Sure. Many people sending me this story, so we will read it from Greene County, Tennessee. It is the truck spill of the week.
All right.
A tanker truck loaded with, Connor, it is a...
Give me context.
It is, I guess, a vague dessert is how I would...
A vague dessert? What's a vague dessert?
Well, it's a dessert, but like, don't get too specific with it. It's just vague. Be vague when
ice
you
cream.
guess.
Cake.
No. What would you put on it if you
Sprinkles.
were a normal person?
On cake?
On ice cream.
Sprinkles.
What else?
Chocolate sauce.
There you go. Chocolate sauce spilled all over Highway 340 on Saturday. Tennessee Highway Patrol said in a social media post the truck contained thousands of gallons of liquid chocolate. The driver ran off the right side of the road.
That's a lot of chocolate, Josh.
And flipped the truck. Driver was airlifted to the hospital, but said to be okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure we didn't have our first deadly truck spill of the week.
No, less fun when the driver of the truck dies.
Where was this at again?
Tennessee.
There's a bunch of chocolate all over the road in Tennessee. Would you rather have your roads covered in chocolate or snow?
Chocolate.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Think about it.
100%.
They don't have chocolate plows. They can't come pick up your chocolate.
It can cake on there. I don't care.
You want your road to be made of chocolate? I disagree.
Hit it with the hose. I don't care.
I don't want my road to be all sticky.
I can avoid that road.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but like hypothetical. It's rain, it's snowing chocolate.
Okay.
Sauce.
Okay, I guess in that instance, probably snow.
Think about how unprepared we are to handle snow, something that's normal. Could you imagine if it snowed chocolate sauce?
If it was chocolate rain?
There's definitely a poll question there somewhere, but you're going to have to figure it out.
And finally, an Indian stuntman. I believe that would be a stuntman from India.
Thank you, Josh.
Want to be really clear about that. I'm just reading the article as it is written.
Thank you, Josh.
Earned a Guinness World Record by stopping 57 electric fans in 1 minute using his tongue.
Ow.
A man known as Drill Man took on the challenge on the set of the Italian TV series Lo Show de Record.
Sure.
Drill Man used his tongue to stop 57 fans in 60 seconds.
Like 2 complete stops?
I believe so.
Because it's one thing to stick your tongue in 57 fans.
Yeah.
It's another thing to completely stop the fans with your tongue.
Yeah. That's I'm going to have to do some research on that.
That's a strong tongue.
Yeah. The Daredevil's other world records include the most nails inserted into the nose with a hammer in 1 minute.
This guy's a freak.
22, by the way, is the record. And heaviest vehicle pulled by a swallowed sword, 4,285 pounds.
No kidding. This guy's a freak.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. If you were at the Creighton game last week, they had the guy who balances stuff on his face.
Okay.
I think his name is he's just like Tyler or something like that. Or
you got to jazz that name up, my friend.
Yeah, it's. I think it is Tyler. I can't remember, but yeah, he had a bicycle. He started balancing a bicycle on top of his nose and a ladder.
Wow.
He's just a really good balancer of things.
Okay. Does he have a very square jaw?
There's nothing about him that would make me think he would be a great balancer of things on his face.
Nothing structurally that you go, okay, well, that's a
strength. No, he didn't have like a structural advantage. It's just a talent.
Okay.
I suppose. A lot of questions about the chocolate road.
Oh, wow. Okay.
First of all, Baymon writes in truck spill news on a Monday. That's a sign it will be a great week. Now, people made this happen.
Yeah,
right. You got this.
Many people sent it to me. Yes.
Headley says Oompa Loompas would be back in if it was chocolate instead of snow.
I watched that movie yesterday with my child. He was singing the song all day yesterday.
I love that movie.
Great movie.
Come with me. That one. Come with me, and you'll be
in a world of pure imagination.
Or was he singing the Oompa Loompa song?
He was singing the Oompa Loompa song. Little 5-year-old bouncing around the house. Oompa Loompa.
Those things are creepy, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird.
Sure.
Also, I have a message here. Milk chocolate or dark chocolate?
I would assume milk chocolate, but you guys are asking a lot of questions about the facts, which I appreciate.
Guess what kind of milk chocolate I like? Or guess what kind of chocolate I like? Damn it. It's milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate?
It's milk chocolate. I like white chocolate too. I didn't really get into the Linder truffles this year.
You didn't. I thought about buying.
What happened?
They were a little pricey this season.
I missed it, but I really like the blue, the one in the blue wrapper, and it's white chocolate with the white chocolate inside, and maybe he's even cookies and cream one.
I know what kind you like. I mean, it was like $6 a bag, and I'm like, no, there's cheaper candy out there.
I don't think I ate a single Linder truffle this
Normally
year.
they're just kind of around the office. I saw some upstairs, but
wow,
none downstairs.
Wow,
interesting. They didn't make their way down here in an effort to, build bridges between the upstairs and the downstairs.
Well, we don't need Linders to do that.
It would help.
It always does. All right. All right. Got another message that I won't read. All right. Let's take a break. Noon hour is up next. Nebrasketball. Will the AP poll be out? in a matter of 4 minutes.
Here we go.
We'll find out. We could talk some Nebraska ball. And Thomas Fedoni, peace sign. Shh. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He has the latest sports news, expert analysis, award-winning commentary, and a pocket full of cabbage.
Can you give us an indication why?
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, a couple poll questions up at Happer Show over the last couple minutes. First one reads, think about it. Would you rather have it snow real snow or snow chocolate sauce? Think about it.
Think about it. I like that disclaimer at the beginning.
And also, would the city of Lincoln have 0 chocolate sauce plows if it snowed chocolate sauce?
Oh, absolutely.
Would the city of Lincoln be horrible at plowing chocolate sauce if it snowed chocolate sauce?
Definitely.
Absolutely, because they're already bad at the snow.
What? Anyone ever pick at that and figure out why that is? I mean, they're a generally large enough Midwestern city.
So for the first, I lived in Lincoln for most of 9 years. All right.
Wow.
And so for the first 4 of them, I genuinely thought that the city just didn't buy a snowplow. I never saw one. I don't think I saw a snowplow in Lincoln until 2017. And
sad.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy. I thought it was some sort of hoax. I had no idea what was going on. And I knew that the roads were in horrible shape.
Mm-hmm.
And then people just driving the roads and they would just hope that it went away. And it would eventually, but it would take several months. And then eventually I saw snowplow and I was amazed. I was like, wow, this is great. But then still the main roads of Lincoln, which it would probably be O Street all the way up and down, like Vine Street all the way up and down, and then you're cross like 84th, 70th, 56th. None of them plowed. Nothing. Like Yukon Cornelius. Nothing. And I'm like, what's going on here? Because the plows exist. They have plows. I don't know how big their fleet is, but I know they have plows. And there I was driving into Lincoln, Nebraska yesterday to do the women's basketball game, and you get off on the interstate there as you're going down into downtown, and their first cross street I think R, right where Barry's is there on the corner. And what do you know? Streets are covered in snow. They got an inch of snow. And the roads are unnecessarily a disaster. I don't know what's wrong with that town. Also, I may have a current grievance with the town for giving me a $100 ticket unnecessarily.
Sure. That's right.
So take everything I say with a grain of salt. All right. Where's the AP poll?
I forgot about that.
Where's the AP poll?
I want to know where the AP poll
I want to know where the AP poll is right now and why I'm just waiting for Nebraska to not be in it so we can have a reaction to this, but I haven't seen anything yet.
They're all pre-triggered.
Yeah. Yep. But what a win. What a nice win for Nebrasketball. Get a top 15 team.
Yeah.
On Saturday in Lincoln. Love a Saturday afternoon home game. I would like to give a shout out to, I've crapped on Lincoln a lot this morning. I'd like to give a shout out to the people at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Bar none, the most efficient security check-in that I've been through in a long time.
Okay.
Now, I don't go to a lot of sporting events anymore where I have to like go in the front door and pay, but I did on Saturday.
Brag.
I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't. So maybe I'm behind the times on this.
Well, you're working at all of them.
So. I'm working at all of them. Exactly. I go in the back door and I show my pass and that's it. I don't have to worry about anything else. But I went in and I was a little
by the docks.
I was a little bit worried because it was really cold and I didn't want to have to stand outside the arena waiting to get into the building just to be checked by security and then to walk up the pile of people, to the escalators that are right there. It's a little cramped in that front lobby at PBA, but they just walk. There's no like, take your jacket off, take your hat off, take your stuff out of your pocket. They have like sensors or whatever that you just walk right through there. And then there's just like random people placed with the ticket, scanners. And they just like raise their hand. There's just a giant swath of people, giant amount of people.
Okay.
And they're just like, hey, I gotta, come scan your tickets right here. You got them up. It took 20 second stops. Nice job by Pinnacle Bank Arena yesterday. And I assume all of the days. All right. But anyway, the main, I don't know if this is the main topic, but the main talking point after the game,
the big story,
is of course that Nebraska has now won 20 games in a row at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Surely that's the thing
or 20
people are talking about.
Conference games in a row at Pinnacle Bank Arena. The last team to win at Pinnacle Bank Arena, this is not a Creighton segment, but the last team to win at Pinnacle Bank Arena was Creighton, right? Last year. Baylor Shireman was blowing kisses to everyone, John Bishop included. But Nebraska's been dominant at home. And so Nebraska fans like to, it's a great thing. We like to say this, like, you don't come here and win. And McKewon, the coach of the UCLA Bruins, who,
that's right.
I don't know, Josh, if you could you maybe try and, or I could sum up my opinions of Mick Cronin. Why is he the coach at UCLA? That would be one of my first questions.
Many have asked this over the last few years.
He's been there for a long time now, and he's had some good teams. He also had Jaime Jaquez, and that helps when you're a coach who every time you have a basketball team stinks at putting the basketball in the hoop. With that being said, they have not been a terrible three-point shooting team this year, UCLA, but they're just bad at offense. They don't have very many skilled players. They have a lot of really good athletes. He's the coach at UCLA. You have the ability to get a whole bunch of great athletes, but they're offensive. And it was cool because I got to watch the game from way up 300 level, and it's almost like the all 22, Josh.
Yeah.
So you could just see it all moving. Their spacing is horrendous. Their ball movement is horrendous. They don't make the extra pass. Like everything is just based on a couple guys' ability to either draw fouls or find their way to the hoop. And then hopefully you could, maybe off of one of those out of every 3 or 4, you get a kick out and you get a 3 or something like that. It is a bad offense. It doesn't make any sense. The coach doesn't know how to do it or doesn't want to do it. I don't know. They don't let guys get in a rhythm. Their substitution patterns are odd. And yes, they were down a couple pieces. But Mick Cronin, after the game, was asked about the environment at Pinnacle Bank Arena, to which he said it was a non-factor. It was, he believes in, to sum it up, he believes in execution and, making plays and all of that stuff. Mick Cronin.
Non-factor?
Well, let me get the actual quote, but that's what it summed up to be, Josh. The actual quote from Coach Mick Cronin was, we didn't play well enough to win against a good team on the road. That's all I really have to say. They did a good job, but I got to be honest, we missed a ton of open shots. They did a great job on the defensive end. Wow, this was a clickbait article that I ended up clicking on there. I don't know why I didn't have this quote available. He says, "Yeah, I don't really believe in that stuff." When asked about the environment, when asked about the crowd, I don't really believe in that stuff. I believe in coaching and execution and players. I just don't believe in that stuff.
Well, that's because 9 people come out to Pauley Pavilion.
That is true. Nobody goes to their games. And then I said after I saw that quote, and it obviously started making the rounds because people were pissed. They were like, "What? There must be a reason that Nebraska hasn't lost a conference game since
toughest place to play in the country. What are you talking about?
The end of 2023, 22-23 season, right?
Yeah.
There must be a reason. It must be because of us. No, it's because the team is good. I think Nebraska fans who were at the game on Saturday would admit that Pinnacle Bank Arena was not like rocking. It got going a little bit at the end, but when it gets quiet, and there's nothing worse, and I mean, Creighton experiences it too. Everybody has this,
constantly.
Right? When there's a lot of people in the building and nobody's doing anything and there's no buzz and people just aren't like we have nothing to cheer about and we have, nothing to complain about. We have nothing to yell about, whatever it is. There's no buzz and there's no more awkward feeling in the world. It was like that for the first 10 to 15 minutes of that game on Saturday because the teams were just trading runs, like long extended runs.
This runs like 7-0 run, 12-0 run, 12-0 run, 7-0 run.
They just traded 15 O's back to, it was just like, woo, woo, woo. So there was nothing to like really lock in for. And I thought it was quiet. And he was quiet for the first half of that game. And so, like I said, I think Nebraska fans would even tell you that Pinnacle Bank Arena was not at its best. There was a couple moments, especially when they went for the brickin' for chicken. People love the brickin' for chicken.
Oh, yeah.
And I was accused on Sunday of cursing no brickin' for chicken.
Yeah, you were 3 for 3 or something.
Well, I just said that, hey, brickin' for chicken is coming because the person missed the first free throw 3 straight times down. And I was like, hey, brickin' for chicken, don't you want some chicken? And people are like, ah! And then they made the second one.
Announcer jinx.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. And so, like, Cronin, after the game, said, yeah, I don't really believe in that stuff. And he, by the way, has a history. He has people brought this up. Like, he has commented before on other crowds and how good they have been, but he obviously didn't think it was that good. And frankly, I think he's right. I don't think it was that good. I think UCLA lost to a better basketball team.
Whoa.
And I think UCLA fans would tell you, well, we were missing all these pieces and whatever. They were missing Will Kyle and, one of their other better players as well. Eric Daly. And people are like, come on, give me a break here. And I'm like, well, like, I thought, I watched the game. I thought Nebraska was better. I didn't think it had anything to do with like Nebraska being, having this sweet home court advantage. And people, commented afterwards and they said, well, Happer, there has to be a reason why does Nebraska play so much better at home? I think it's a college basketball thing, first of all. And I do think when it gets going, Pinnacle Bank Arena can be a serious, serious home court advantage for people. But you have to understand that Nebraska has put this winning streak together during a point in time in which their winning percentage overall is like 75%. They've won a lot of games over the last 3 years. Nebraska has won a ton. They're 11-3 this year. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong. They're 12-2 this year. They went 23-11 last year, and they went 16-16 the year before that with them winning. I believe it was 7 out of their last 9 or 8 out of the last 10 or something like that. So like since February of 2023, this has been one of the best teams in the Big Ten Conference. Consistently. The entire time.
Do you want to be the plucky underdog, or do you want to be a very good basketball
like I'm
team?
saying, it's like if you're looking for a reason why Nebraska's won all these games, yeah, I mean, Pinnacle Bank Arena has a high, like it could be a really, really good home court environment, especially, on Saturday the students weren't there. It was all these things went into it, and there was weather. But like, so I don't think what Mick Cronin was doing was like crapping on the arena and the environment or really even commenting on it at all. He was just saying, hey, look, we didn't execute and the other team executed better. Like, that's kind of the story. And I think people need to realize that even Nebrasketball fans need to realize, well, the reason our team is good is because we're good. It's not some like, oh, can they win at home? Like that. If this goes how I think it's going to go with Nebraska, there's not going to be those questions at the end of the season of like, well, they can't win any games on the road, period. Last year, for a large portion of the season, there was. I think this team is better than that. I think Nebraska will steal a few on the road this year. On top of Pinnacle Bank Arena being yes, a tough place to play. You can't guarantee that a team's going to go undefeated in their home building the entire year. They might lose one, or 2 or whatever it might be, because they have some tough home. They have Illinois at home at the end of the month. They have Ohio State at home. They have Maryland at home. Like, it's a really tough stretch at the end of January and into February. I think they're good. So take the compliment, right?
Nebrasketball, very good.
Exactly. Thank you, Josh.
That's what you wanted to hear.
Thank you for your comment. Yes. Yeah, I think that's a good basketball team.
Yeah.
They have an all-conference caliber player who wasn't very good, but definitely got to the free throw line on Saturday. And Connor Essegian didn't make anything he looked at, and a lot of them were good looks, and they still won his minutes on the floor. I think you got to put some respect on. These are guys that I've been riding for a long time. Sam Hoiberg, most chiefly.
That's your guy.
Who made a couple winning plays in that game. Andrew Morgan. I thought Andrew Morgan was the biggest player in that game. Andrew Morgan forced the issue a couple times when Nebraska was just really, really stagnant on offense. Like, we need this guy to get a post touch and just go blast away at somebody down there. And see if you could draw a foul, or see if you can get a layup, or see if you can get a kick out of that. I thought Andrew Morgan did that a couple times when Nebraska was in a funk in the first half of that game. So those two guys kind of personify what Nebraska is trying to be as a team this year. Like, they talk about the gritty stuff all the time. If you get that, Gary is always going to be that type of guy, and he made a game-winning play on Saturday, blocking the one at the rim and stuffing it up against the backboard. And then you get Williams doing what he's done. Like, what's to not like about the group? They're pretty good. They're pretty complete. I think they know exactly who they are.
They've once again done the thing where on paper, preseason, you look at the roster and go, I don't know where the points are going to come from. And sure enough, they find them.
Indeed. Here's Alex in Lincoln.
Hello, Alex.
But also, well, I don't know if there's a typo in here, but basically, screw Cronin. He could take all the heat from the Husker fans. Yeah, I don't think he really. I just am not a believer in how they do it. Like, for him to get that job at UCLA, a blue blood job with all the access to whatever talent you want. I don't know how they do. They probably don't do particularly well in NIL, but it's a blue blood program, right? You can generally get what you ask for, and who doesn't want to wear the UCLA blue in a basketball uniform and all that stuff? Like, to have that program with that type of ceiling and play the way they do, I just think it cuts your ceiling off significantly, and it's unnecessary to demand that you be that kind of team.
They could play.
If I was a fan, I would be triggered.
They should absolutely be playing a more aesthetically pleasing form of basketball. Given
they're capable of it, even with this team.
Given the talent, I assume that they have in the area.
You're just cutting. And they have that on their team. Like they don't develop skill, right? Like Jaime Jaquez bailed them out a lot. Jaime Jaquez was one of the more Jaime Jaquez was kind of like Doug McDermott-y in his skill, right? He wasn't athletic at all, but look at what his skills got him. He's all the way to in the NBA. Having some success, right? So, yeah, he bailed him out a lot.
More than that malcontent Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not happy. I need to get my happiness back.
Lost my smile.
Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
He says, I was there first half was bad. Second half turned really good down the stretch. I've seen way better. Student-led charge. We didn't have the students. Nebraska's good, and we still have a top 10 atmosphere in the country.
I imagine that first half was pretty hard to vibe through.
It was quiet.
Yeah.
Nebraska has put together really, really good atmospheres in the past.
Sure.
No doubt about it. And
they
I just didn't think that was really one of them.
What's wrong with this Rutgers team?
Well, they threw a bunch of talented players together, and it's not working. That's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
I was told it would work.
Sal writes in on YouTube.
Hi, Sal.
The depth of this team is great. Berkay has only scratched the surface. Can't have games from a season like that, though. Yeah, Berkay was really bad.
Oh, no.
Berkay did not have a good revenge game. Hit one corner three, I think. And
well, that was pretty good considering only 11 threes got hit in the entire game.
Yeah. I think that was only his one bucket. Let's see. Berkay. Yeah, one of 8 from the field.
Oof.
Yeah, it was a few turnovers there. Berkay was not good. He did not have a good day.
And they still won because they're good.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, they had a lot of that on Saturday.
People don't like the way I'm saying Nebrasketball is good.
Yeah, I don't either, Josh. You sound like you're being condescending.
It's just my voice.
Nebrasketball is good.
It's
See,
just my
I
tone.
told you. How does that sound?
They're very good.
I don't know if they're very good.
Oh.
Just say it, Josh. Nebrasketball's good.
Nebrasketball is good.
Not convincing enough. Can Josh Odson unsarcastically say Nebrasketball is good?
Nebrasketball is good.
Can he convince you somehow that he actually thinks that Nebrasketball is good?
Nebrasketball good.
That was as close as you've been.
Okay.
That was the best you've done so far. All right. Any thoughts on that? We'll take them. 951-1620. Also on Twitter, we'll be back after this. We'll talk about Thomas Fedoni. We'll catch up on some basketball thoughts. Sam McKewon will join us at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. Plenty to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. from the YouTube, a comment from Travis. Why does Josh sound like he wants to put air quotes around Nebrasketball is good?
There's no air quotes.
I don't think people are going to believe you.
Nebrasketball, good.
I don't know. I just can't.
Nebrasketball, good.
That's the best you've done.
Okay.
That's the best you've done.
I was practicing during the break. I don't know if you heard me.
Alex and Lincoln,
Hi,
I will
Alex.
only believe Josh if he wears a Husker basketball jersey.
If one shows up in this room, I will wear it.
Okay. We'll work on that.
Okay.
Happer's meme guy. Josh, would you like to grunt how good Nebrasketball is to show your true
Okay.
to show your true colors?
They are
Josh, how good is Nebrasketball?
What is their record?
They are 12-2.
Well, yeah. What I guess what place are they in?
What do you mean by place?
Standings.
They're 2-1 in the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah.
There's no Big Ten
Oh,
standings.
this is separation right now. Oh my gosh, they're in the bottom half. What is this?
Josh, there is no Big Ten standings. You don't have to think
Ah.
about that.
Okay.
It's January 6th. People forget.
People forget. It's like a holiday, said Steve Sipple one time. Okay.
That's like a good game in the NFL that you actually think is going to be a blowout, but you want to believe like it's a good matchup on paper.
Uh-huh.
So once again, Josh just can't do it. You just can't believe it.
I can't throw my full endorsement behind them. It's January 6th, as you said.
Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
So happy that Josh's bit is back.
It's not a bit.
Makes me laugh, and it tells me that we are actually good at basketball.
That's what I've been saying.
If he wasn't doing the bit, it means we suck. Similar to the shush that Josh said with Fedoni. Which leads us into our next topic. Alert. Thomas Fedoni. Now, I don't know what is next for Thomas, for young Tom.
Now, why do you say it like that?
Well, because Josh, he went on Thread. Who goes on Threads?
A coward who doesn't want to say.
Whoa!
What?
He's gonna shush you.
If you had some conviction in leaving this place, you would tell us all off on Twitter like an adult.
That's fair, I guess.
God's plan. Throw up the graphic.
So he did a Threads, a peace sign emoji with a couple pictures and videos attached from his time here, and everyone was like, he's not coming back. Now, context, many people thought prior to his departure, quote unquote, they're good, departure, that he was going to be departing. Right? So do you think everyone is like, Thomas Fedoni just said that he was leaving? If they didn't already think he was leaving before he did the threads, the random hard to find threads, maybe not. Maybe it would just be more confusion. But Thomas is a well-known cryptic tweet doer over the years. Various times in which he took all of the Nebraska stuff randomly out of his profile, and people look at that stuff. Should they? No. Should they? No. But people know. People who are followed on social media understand and are aware that they can mess with people. And I think Nebraska fans maybe felt messed with
by Thomas Fedoni.
Yeah, during his time here. Like, so the question that I want to get to is, why was he such a lightning rod? Because he was a lightning rod.
Probably
he was injured twice.
Yeah,
high profile recruitment, local kid,
high profile local that just kind of, I don't want to say it didn't pan out because like we expected more.
Definitely.
And so,
but he was a good player for them this year. He was a good player for them this year.
You scored the same amount of touchdowns as him.
He didn't score any touchdowns, but he should have scored that one touchdown in the Rutgers game, by the way. That should have been a touchdown. He did not step out. He had 373 receiving yards this year, Josh, as a tight end, which is like actually one of the better tight end seasons in Nebraska football history.
It was fourth most on the team this season.
Yeah. That's a good player. That is a worthwhile player.
I would argue you can find that somewhere.
Oh, yes, he's replaceable.
Uh-huh.
But he's good. He was a good player.
Thomas Fedoni, good.
See, I definitely don't believe you on that one. Oh God! By the way, so hold on, pause everything. The AP poll is out.
The AP poll is out. I didn't know if it was interruption worthy.
Oh, it's
Nebraska not on it.
Why? How could they not rank them? What?
Haters.
God, I hate this stupid website. Why don't half the page has to say please donate?
It's not even updated on the AP's website.
No, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sure.
26th, 27th, 28th are tied for 27th, 62 votes.
Week 10? You looking at week 10?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Nebraska basketball comes in at the equivalent of 27th, tied for 27th with John Calipari and them boys from Arkansas in the Associated Press poll this week. Rank them, cowards. Also, Brian Buschini has declared for the draft.
Yes, he has.
What a declaration by him. Brian Buschini is good.
Brian Buschini's an NFL punter.
You think Brian Buschini will be an NFL punter?
He's going to try his darndest.
He will try, that's for sure. I don't know what Thomas Fedoni is going to do. Thomas Fedoni going to enter the NFL draft? Is he entering the transfer portal? It's unclear from his peace sign. Now, if he does enter the transfer portal, people will find out, even if there's not an announcement, because you have to enter paperwork to enter the NFL draft as well. So, but he was quite the relationship with Nebraska fans, with
local radio hosts.
Really, it's just Nebraska fans, isn't it? Like the guy had a chip on his shoulder, and he couldn't help that he was injured back to back, long term. Like that's a hard time. That's a really, really difficult thing to go through back to back, basically. And his college career probably just didn't turn out the way that he thought it was going to.
I'm sure of that.
And definitely not the way that Nebraska fans thought he was going to. But he was, for whatever reason, he was just kind of a really, really paid attention to person. A person that people were always aware of. Like I remember when he changed his Twitter profile or whatever to just black it. I think it was last off season. He was just like nothing. People were like, what's wrong with this guy? Is he transferring? What's this guy's problem? People don't like being messed with.
He definitely became the guy that we kind of lashed out at for all of Nebraska's problems for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
I don't think that Thomas Fedoni is to blame for all of Nebraska's problems. That's for sure.
Poll question?
No. Nope. Nope. Aaron writes in on the text line. Thomas goes to Iowa to spite Nebraska 100%. Mark it on the board. Put it on the board? A prediction? Sal writes in.
Hi, Sal.
I'm sure PJ Fleck is working the phone hard right now. Travis says they need to go. We was talking about that. Was about Nebraska.
PJ Fleck's at the Verizon store today getting a new phone after he had that mayo dumped on him by Flava Flav.
He did get. I don't like how creamy the mayo was.
Well, they stir it.
I know. I know. We talked about this. I don't like that. I think it should be more gloopy.
Oh, okay.
More mushy, if you will.
Mushy mayo.
I think the mayo should be more gloopy, like the regular mayonnaise. If my mayonnaise was runny, like it's like a mayonnaise, it's almost like a mayonnaise sauce or a mayonnaise dip or something like that. It has the consistency of ranch. And we're dumping it all over this coach. No, I wanted to gloop on him. I didn't like that, but I liked how into it PJ Fleck was. That was pretty cool.
Very on brand.
Yeah. Too much froth in the mayo, Chance says. I agree. Yeah, when you mix it up that much, it's going to get. They probably took a frother to it. People have frothers.
Yeah. Skimmed a little off the top. We got a frother at our house.
You do?
Yeah.
Fancy schmancy frothers.
Alex and Lincoln texts in.
Hey, Alex and Lincoln.
Flava Flav dumped mayo on PJ Fleck. That's right.
Yeah, what's so weird about that?
That's a sentence I said, recapping something that happened over the weekend. Flava Flav, I guess to be completely accurate, Flavor Flav removed the Mayo mascot costume, revealing himself to the world.
Yeah.
And then dumped mayonnaise on Minnesota football head coach PJ Fleck.
I kind of feel bad for the Mayo Bowl because they were the first to do this stupid stuff. And now the Pop-Tarts Bowl is just totally eating all that up.
Kind of past them to the point where that comes on and we're like, okay, we did the one.
Yeah. Well, maybe the initial, what was the first really stupid thing that a bowl game did?
It was probably
was it the French fries in the potatoes
That's
bowl?
the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, they dumped French fries over them, and then the Mayo Bowl started to exist, and we started dumping mayo on people, and now it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and it's not even about that at all. The trophy is a toaster.
It's a theatrical show now.
Right. There's lore.
Yes.
A brave innocent Pop-Tart died.
2 of them.
And came back to life.
That's right.
It stood on top of the scoreboard. So, yeah, I think we owe all of that to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, which we dumped French fries on people. Anyway, I don't have much more to say about Thomas Fidone other than I just wonder if is he actually done? Because, like I said, I feel like there's been a lot.
Do you think it's possible he could have been soft launching something and okay, let me see how it goes over on Threads, and if people are okay with it, maybe I'll take it to Twitter and Instagram.
Maybe. Because when I saw, and I was late on catching up with this story, but I knew that people had been talking about it all day long, and there were some people who were saying Thomas Fidone has announced that he's not coming back to Nebraska. And so I was like, okay, cool. Where and when did he announce this? And he didn't. He just did a peace sign on Threads. And now his Twitter bio says tight end Adidas All-American. But I don't even know what it said before. The very, very confusing case of Thomas Fidone and his Nebraska career. Interesting.
What's his grandma think of all this?
Oh, the one on Facebook?
Or his aunt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have we got her opinion?
I don't. That's actually a great question. I didn't go searching on Facebook. I felt like dangerous waters.
I don't care enough to. You want to go? You can go. It's fine.
Yeah, I think most people are like that, but it has to be done in a, we like being told how good we are.
Oh, Nebrasketball fans love it.
See, Josh, you hate Nebrasketball.
They're good.
But we like if somebody is going to depart, we like to hear, hey, thank you.
God's plan.
Thank you for everything you did. I will forever be indebted to you. This and this and this.
I stand on the shoulders of greatness.
Yeah, we like it when people are grateful or whatever. And that I don't know that this is going to happen in this situation.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get your flowers from Thomas Fidone.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why. That's why people that's why people are like, no, that's not good enough for me.
I'm trying to think of anyone who, there has to be somebody who hit the portal and I am so out of here. Angrily hit the portal.
Has anybody done that? Because when most people hit the portal, it's just I want to thank, I love everybody, and I loved all of my coaches, and I love all the players, and I just have to do what's best for myself.
Yeah.
Transfer people paint themselves into this corner of it's not you, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being selfish here, but I have to be selfish. I have to do what I have to do.
Even Malachi Coleman was I got to do what's best for me.
Yeah, that guy had a rough road.
Yeah.
as it pertains to the fans here at Nebraska.
He could have definitely been like, bleep you, you're cool, bleep you, I'm out.
Yeah. No, I never have seen it that way.
Yeah.
I've seen like not with Nebraska, but I've seen some transfer portal entries just say, I'm entering my name in the transfer portal. Here's a screenshot of the email that I got. See ya. But I haven't seen many of those for Nebraska, that's for sure. All right. We will take a break here. We still have to talk about Creighton, who let one slip against Marquette. Talk about the NFL playoff slate coming up. Sam McKewon is going to join us as well at 1 o'clock. There is plenty to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Here's a tweet from Dirk Chatlin.
Hi, Dirk.
Doing a little Husker research. when I came upon a name I haven't heard in a long time, Mark Whipple.
Oh, we talk about him all the time on 1620.
That's right. He must be listening to the Connor Happer show. He says it raises a thought, and this kind of came up earlier. The sheer volume of Nebraska assistant coaches hailed, paid handsomely, shamed, discarded, then forgotten about is completely staggering. Absolutely staggering, you Reds. They should all have a reunion. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying with Foley earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they have this and this and this, and we're on board and we like it. And actually, wait, you suck. See you later. Or your unit isn't performing well. Like, I just never think. No, ultimately the guy who has the coordinator tag is mostly responsible for whatever happens on their unit, right? So if they suck, then they suck, and then the coach sucks, and then we chew them up and we spit them out. But I just don't believe in that. I just don't believe in black and white as it pertains to that. Like, we get credit, we get blame, but like, I want to know what makes a thing work or what makes a thing not work. And I don't know what makes Nebraska special teams not work. But I can tell you that it wasn't exclusively Ed Foley.
That's right.
It wasn't only Ed Foley that made it not work.
If I knew how to fix it, I would come on the radio and tell everyone,
right.
This is how you fix it.
Right.
But I do know, not an Ed Foley problem.
Bob Diaco would be at that reunion.
Oh, yeah, he would.
He'd
have
a lot of
working
things
that
to say.
room.
Yep, a lot of things to say.
He'd be looking good while he worked that room, too.
You want to talk about special teams coaches? I mean, Bob Diaco, little known, Disco Bob was the punter coach when he was at Nebraska. He had a real passion for punters. I watched Disco Bobby D take punters through punting drills. He would drill them. He would have his hoodie tucked into his underwear, and because he would wear shorts with like pants over the top of the shorts, and then a shirt, and then a hoodie, and then he would tuck the hoodie into the shorts, which were a little bit above the pants, so you could see that it was whatever. That guy just had passion for that, and he was actually pretty good at it. But
well, that's important.
It is, but Nebraska's defense sucked. They were awful. Was it his fault? Partly, sure. Was he definitely not put in a position for success? That's right.
You betcha.
That's right. So what makes these things bad? What makes it not work? That's what I'm more interested, rather than chewing up people and spitting them out and saying that they stink and they're never allowed in the state of Nebraska again. Because we have we do not mind saying goodbye to people. Peace. Hit the road, dirtbag.
Oh,
this guy we loved. We loved him. We loved him.
Yeah.
And people were just like, over the last couple weeks, the only conversation was, why hasn't he been fired yet? And I'm not saying you have to be nice to I'm not saying that you have to be like, you have to do the whole thing. It's like, we love you and we appreciate you. Once a Husker, always. Like, you don't have to do the whole song and dance. But like, be willing to listen to the idea that it's not all pinned on one person. That's all.
They were really bad at special teams, though.
They were. And he was the special teams coordinator.
Mm-hmm. We needed a head on a pike.
MK writes in.
Hi, MK.
Sound like you're creating lore. Ooh. Husker Injustice League, where Scott Frost is the ultimate mastermind. I mean, I guess he would be the king of that reunion. The most, the most lauded, the most loved, the most expectations heaped upon, immediately followed by the ugliest chewing up and spitting out, right?
Yeah.
A very, very up and down relationship with the state of Nebraska does Scott Frost have.
Hope it doesn't go terribly, terribly wrong for you in Orlando.
Josh, you sound sarcastic.
I just wish him the best.
Josh, I can't believe anything that you say anymore.
Nebrasketball, good.
Everything you say sounds like you're being sarcastic now.
Thomas Fedoni,
I
adequate.
hope Scott Frost has a good time in Orlando.
Be a real shame if it went south quick.
Chris writes in.
Hi, Chris.
I want to see all the old assistant coaches at a Holiday Inn room with names and badges and years on staff with like a band playing in the back. They're all meeting. Oh, hey.
Oh, class of.
Oh, you were the defensive.
02.
You were the defensive coordinator for Bill Callahan. What was your name? Kevin Cosgrove. Oh yeah, man, that was bad. That didn't go well. What happened? Well, there was all this other stuff. So it's funny because they would be at the conference blaming other people, and yet I'm trying to convince you that it wasn't all their fault. It's not all their. It's just like it wasn't Giancarlo's fault.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
That's right.
Yeah. Be a fun meeting. Be a fun meeting, that's for sure. Like to be a fly on the wall. John emails in.
Hi, John.
Diaco, it's too bad Diaco had zero passion for defense. No, he had a lot of passion for defense. He was a big I need more time guy. He was a big like I can't do what I was hired to do in this short a period of time. Which fair, right? But he also took the job. He shouldn't have taken the job. That's what I'm saying. Nebraska shouldn't have hired him, and he shouldn't have taken that job because he was fresh off of being fired by UConn, and it would have had to happen too fast. And everyone was on the hot seat. No chance that was going to work. We should have seen that at the time. And of course we did not. All right, Creighton. I didn't think it was really possible for them to get hurt by that game, but they kind of did, and I'll explain why. I think they played generally well enough to win against Marquette on Friday night. A result which, if you listen to the show on Friday, I did not expect. They got off to a 10-0 run right at the start of the game. I was like, whoa, okay, that's some nice padding. And then it all went away. Played really, really bad at the end of the first half, and really, really bad for the first segment and some more of the second half. And outside of that, we're really pretty good. And so I think that's the painful part. Like, you played well enough to win. You had you had a chance to win that game with Kalkbrenner missing seemingly 100 two-pointers, like 100 shots underneath the basket that he just always, like, they're not all comfortable shots for him, but he gets to this spot and he always seems to be able to have the angle to put it in. And they're never comfortable angles, but he always is able to find it. He didn't make any of those in crunch time or any other time really on Friday against Marquette. And then Ashworth missing like in rhythm open threes. Something that has just not been a part of their deal this year. That stuff has usually been pretty automatic. Those two parts. And so it's a win that they would have absolutely loved to have, that they now had, that maybe you didn't think going into it they had a chance to win it, but coming out of it they definitely did have the chance to win it, so you feel like you let it slip. And you're just not going to have that many opportunities to have. I mean, we did the roadmap. Like, how many needle movers do you really have on this schedule? It's road games against Marquette. It's road game against UConn. It's a road game against St. John's, which you still have to come. And then there's probably the home game against UConn, and the home game against Marquette. And that's it. And so to have them in a situation where you were really right there and you didn't even play that, particularly well, and you still had a chance to win it, feels like a missed opportunity to me. That feels like one that stings.
Let them off the hook.
Now they're in this run right now where they're just playing. I mean, it's basically 4 games in 3.5, 4 weeks, right? Starting with starting with the pre-Christmas game with Villanova, and then the New Year's Eve game, and then Friday, and then having not to play again until this coming Saturday on the road at Butler, a place that has not been very kind to Creighton over the years, Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Oh no,
a place where you now you need to find a win. I don't know. So it's not because there will be stretches and it changes in individual games. Like, man, they might really have a chance here. This team is definitely an NCAA tournament. But then at the end of the year, the resume is going to be odd. Creighton needs to, be able to win enough games to put the people who make those decisions in a bind. And I think they will, but that will take them winning a couple games that they're not supposed to. They let one slip on Friday night, that's for sure.
Got to grab a couple.
All right, Sam McKewon of the Omaha World Herald is coming up after this. We could talk with him about Ed Foley, special teams, whose fault things are, transfer entries on either side of the building. Back with Sam coming up next on 1620 The Zone. Welcome back. It's 1 o'clock here on a Monday on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We're joined now on the phone by Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Sam, hello. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Hey, congratulations to your Bears. Wow. What a win yesterday.
Yeah.
It's tough. You're like, don't you have a Bears Browns house?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And, my wife grew up in Cleveland. So Bears and Browns in our house. And, hey, I'm not going to turn down the Bears loss. Losing the game, even if they lose the game, I don't know that the NFL draft slot is that different or significant.
Agreed.
They don't need a quarterback, so like they weren't going to draft one of those anyway, and I don't think they're going to get Travis Hunter. So like they're going to go, they could get a receiver, they could get a lineman, they could get an edge rusher. There's a bunch of different things they can do. The key for the Bears franchise is they got to get a coach. They have to find a coach who obviously does a better job of reaching the team than Matt Eberflus did. Or, the interim head coach obviously did not get this team to play until this week. And they really struggled after Eberflus was fired. And then all of a sudden, now you see like there's a little bit of life. There was a little bit of life last week. But this franchise really needs the right leader, and then it needs the right guy to come in and, tweak some of the things that Caleb Williams needs to improve on. Caleb Williams can do something.
Yep. And
he had some moments all season long, and people didn't pay much attention to those, and that's okay. And there's other teams that are better, but that guy's got a future, and the next coach coming in got to be able to unlock all the things that Caleb Williams is capable of. We're talking about a guy that threw the ball for 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks. That ain't bad. That's not bad at all. He'll take it, and he's got a future in the league.
Sam, we were talking about special teams earlier, and I do want to talk about sort of what's next there. But as far as, and you wrote about this in your rewind, sort of about the job in general, and I kind of came up with this. Like I think about Iowa and the way that they do special teams and how good it is, how much of an asset it has been for them, and it's an asset for a lot of teams in the conference. It has not been for Nebraska. It's been a detriment to them. How difficult is the Nebraska special teams job from the perspective of taking it where it is right now to where it has to go to be as good or better than its peers around the Big Ten Conference?
Right. So the stability of a head coach helps special teams for sure. I think Kirk Ferentz, having been there for a long time, your culture gets used to it. You don't have constant changes. You don't have philosophical changes. Iowa's pretty steady. People remember the Iowa game last year. Ferentz replaced kicker halfway between the games. So there's imperfections at Iowa too. But I think a head coach being there a long time creates a stability for special teams. That's part of it. Nebraska's had constant change at the head coach. They had a guy for 3 years, and then they had Scott for 5 years and a couple games, and now Rule's going into his 3rd year. And so it was 4 years, I guess, with Scott, a couple of games. So that's just a lot of turnover and a lot of different strategies that have been put in place. You need to get a head coach who's stable, and I think Nebraska has that. Then you need a coordinator who's going to be stable, and Ed Foley, for whatever reason, just wasn't able to get that done. And then you need a kicking and punting unit that's going to be stable. And, Nebraska's had adventures at kicker. I'm not exactly sure, and this will be a question we can ask Rule, I guess, is why did special teams not really go right under Ed Foley, or more to the point, like, what decision did he make that necessitated his departure?
Right.
Other than he didn't go out and get a long snapper last summer, and maybe that's the decision. That's the consequences of that poor decision. But for me, Connor, I think the return game is something that has to get better, and it just hasn't been very good since Foley arrived. In fact, I would say that return issue is maybe the larger issue. It obviously hasn't been more consequential, and it hasn't been more impactful. But Nebraska's return game, outside of one long return by Barney and one long return by Ramir Johnson in the first game of the Rule era, it just hasn't been very good. And that's an area where I think Nebraska's got to get better, is in the return game.
It feels like this question to where does it need to go next would get a lot easier, to your point, Sam, if you figured out, or if you knew why it wasn't working and why it hasn't worked under multiple people who have been in charge of it, under multiple head coaches at this point. And like there's consistent results in there. And Nebraska hasn't been able to return punts in a long time now, since, they've been bad in the return game. And it's been spotty kind of everywhere else. But is there a thing to you that sort of is the connecting factor on all of this, and why Nebraska has just not been able to put this together for a long time now?
Yeah, I think a couple things are obviously, like I mentioned, the changes at the top. the instability at the head coaching position, I think probably has something to do with that. I think that goes for the offense and the defense too. And then I think you want to have elite specialists, and sometimes a coach walks onto a staff and, hello, I'm Bo Pelini. Hello, I'm Alex Henry. He's there.
Right.
That's great. I think when Rule got here, I think Buschini had a couple of nice years, but he wasn't Alex Henry. And your place kicker when you arrived as a true freshman. And could they have gone out and gotten a transfer portal place kicker? Well, yes, they could have. And that's something that maybe they should have done. I mean, there's a number of things there. In my experience, Connor, you just have to recruit the right specialist. Like you're bringing a guy in. I'm not saying it's golf, but you got to go out and get a guy that can, that's got a wedge in his hand. He's 75 yards out. You're asking him to put it within 5 feet. That's a lot of what you're doing there. Like you can put a mental process into that guy, and people will tell you don't want the head coach too much in the kicker's ear. That's not something they tend to do.
Tell that to Steve Sarkisian at the in the Peach Bowl.
I know. He's a really interesting case study because, man, he does some things better than almost anybody. But then there's things that Sarkisian does that I think are kind of curious. But I think there's just a lot of different dynamics there that I think you have to work through as a program. They'll get to work on it. And in the return game, Iowa's incredible in return. I know they have great punters. That's great. But their level of return game year after year is really impressive. And LeVar Woods obviously deserves some credit for that. Simultaneously, they've just found guys who can do those things. And Nebraska has not been able to find as many kinds of players like that.
What do you think of, including these last couple guys they've got this past weekend with a really, really good linebacker and a Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year from last year, Marcus Watson Trent, and then an FCS corner that Nebraska got. Like, I guess if you look at the whole picture of what they've been able to add defensively to replace a lot of the experience that they're losing coming from this past year, how do you think what have you noticed about it, and how do you think it's ended up for them on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, they didn't mess around. They know they have a lot of brain power on the defensive side of the ball, and they know what they want. That's always been real clear since Rule got there. I think Nebraska's going to play good defense because Matt Rule's the head coach, and John Butler and Phil Snow will complement that. But you just think about the work they've been able to do in a short amount of time. They started with a 5-star Williams Nonieri that everybody would have freaked out over if Nebraska had gotten him out of high school. He's probably a better prospect now, and he hasn't earned a second of his eligibility because he had a year in college. And so they started there, and then they get the corner this weekend, and that linebacker is going to obviously be plugged in and be a starter immediately. And that's why you go and get a guy like that. He'll come here and play right away. They'll put him next to Vincent Schaefer. That's probably your starting linebacker duo. And so they've done a lot of work. They've got defensive linemen. They went out and got an FCS pass rusher in Jalen George, who's probably going to be one of their best pass rushers. And they've done some work at corner. There's one guy, Justin Rhett, who I'm curious to see what their vision for him is. He's probably the one that I'm thinking they're taking a little bit of a flyer there on his athleticism. But every other piece, you just totally understand why they're doing what they're doing. And that's indicative of a program that understands how to play defense. They're doing good work there.
Yeah, and then you flip it over to the offensive side of the ball and handing the keys over to Dana Holgorsen. There's a few holes still that Nebraska needs to kind of address in the transfer portal. But once again, it's the same question, but for the offense, like, how do you feel about what they've come through with? The wide receivers seem like they're pretty good, established players with some they both have experience and some eligibility left, so you can sort of develop them a little bit as well. Like, how do you feel about what they've done so far as we turn to 2025 on offense?
I think they went and got the two receivers they wanted. I think Dane Key's got the potential to be an elite player in the Big Ten. And Isaiah Hunter, I think maybe a year or two away, but will be a good compliment, in my opinion. And then so far they have not chosen to go after a running back. That may change. I think they probably have a better understanding, Holgerson does at this point, of what they have coming in. Do they feel like Jamarian Parker, who we don't talk much about?
No.
He could be the top recruit in that class. I mean, he really could. I don't get into the rankings game and why people do what they do, but I mean, Jamarian didn't really move the needle in terms of the recruiting rankings, but he's got an incredible resume, and then the offensive line thing needs to come together. That's for sure. Obviously, they need to go out and get those tackles, but those tackles are expensive, and they're some of the hardest players to land because everybody's after them. And this is just what I'm about to say is just my opinion. That's all it is. I think sometimes when you get guys, offensive linemen, big guys, they don't mind playing in the warmer weather. They're large guys. And, I'm a short person, but I also a large person. I understand. Sometimes I think the larger guys, they just like going, 6'6", 335. They don't mind playing in Florida or on the coast or where it's just a little bit warmer. One of the things that Nebraska offensive linemen used to be really elite at is they go out and get a 265-pound guy. They put a little weight on him, but he was quick and he was kind of shorter maybe, and he could move. And he was usually from the Midwest, and usually from Nebraska. And that seems to have been a good formula for the Huskers. If you go in the portal, one, you're paying a lot of money, and two, you're competing against every school for that guy because those guys are coveted. And so I think what you're going to see next year is I think they would like to get in a potential transfer center, and they might be able to do that. They got Ben Scott. He was a good player. But, they're probably going to have to roll with Justin Evans and Sam Sledge and Gunnar Gatula and Gibson Pyle and Grant Briggs, and hope that Turner Corcoran comes back, and hope that Teddy Prohaska is healthy. And you're going to have to go with some of your younger guys. That's possible. And Midwestern kids who are tough and are used to the weather. That's kind of what Iowa's done too. And Iowa's got good linemen. Minnesota's kind of done that. Minnesota has larger linemen than Nebraska.
Yeah.
But Minnesota's not necessarily going all over the country for their guys. You look at their line, and they usually got a guy from Wisconsin and Minnesota, and that's just kind of how you have to do it. I think the elite tackles often end up at USC or Texas or Florida. Not always. You get a Zach Wiegert here and there, but a lot of times those elite tackles just end up at very specific schools, and almost without exception, the Ohio State being the exception, Michigan maybe. A lot of those guys play in warmer weather. That's just my experience. I've had offensive linemen tell me that, Whereas sometimes those skill players, that they'll play anywhere. They're like, hey, I'll go wherever you want me to go because I want to play and I want to get on the field. And I know that if I'm going to go to the NFL, I'm going to have to play for the Packers anyway. I'm going to have to play. Sometimes those skill players will go anywhere because they're just ready to roll whatever the weather is.
All right, Sam. Well, we'll let you go. Thanks for it's a good rundown on both sides of the ball with a lot more changes still to come. Enjoy your week, my friend.
They'll get a couple linemen. They'll get a couple, and they'll probably be good players. It's a very difficult pool because those guys are coveted by so many people.
Right.
It's just not always easy to get the guy that you want. And they've done a great job with the defensive linemen, but the offensive linemen can be tough because those are coveted players.
Enjoy your week, Sam. See ya.
All right, take care.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Yeah, I think Nebraska probably there's probably some truth to what Sam said about just where players end up. But Nebraska shot their shot on a lot of tackles in the portal, has shot their shot on a lot of tackles in the portal, and have come up empty to this moment. An appropriate grunt for that, Josh. Yeah. And so, when you look ahead to another portal window coming up, like this might have to be something that Nebraska doesn't address until after spring.
Scary.
It is a little bit scary, but they have a couple guys that I think they feel good about on their roster. Obviously, a little bit of a roll over the dice to roll with those guys, as Sam talked about. But you can you can be pretty particular, but at the same time, it costs like a couple $1 million to get a portal tackle.
Yeah, that's
like
okay.
It's serious business as far as that position is concerned. So Nebraska's best path is always going to be, has been, and always is going to be developing offensive linemen. You can develop offensive linemen, but they've had some hits, they've had some misses so far, and it wasn't necessarily great with the previous coaching staff. So it just takes some time. With that being said, I think they've gotten a lot out of they've gotten some pretty good results out of what they've had for what they've had over the last couple of years. So I think the coach is pretty good. But recruiting,
Johnny,
developing, might just take some time at that position. So it'll be talked about and thought about all winter, spring, and summer long.
Don't worry, we'll talk us into this O-line being great by August. We got time.
I don't know. I wonder if you told Nebraska fans today, this is your offensive line. I don't know if they would.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would say what you just said, Josh. I don't know if you'd be like, yeah,
Nebraska O-line.
This is like the top half of the Big Ten offensive. Like, nope, no. People are super pessimistic about the offensive line always, until it's not, until it's good. And I think you would have a hard time convincing them that this, whatever they did right now, would end up being good. So,
yeah.
They'll need some help, and they'll get that.
Need a guy. Need a win.
All right, we'll take a look at the NFL back from this past weekend and look ahead. And a very funny stat about the Houston not Oilers.
Yeah, they don't have the rights to that. They're not the Houston Oilers.
Josh is triggered.
I'm not triggered. Everyone else is triggered, and I find it hilarious.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Yeah, I had a really good time showing an out-of-towner this weekend. Just the quick drive through downtown Omaha. I'm weirdly proud of. I'm not weirdly. I'm proud of my city. And now we're getting a Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah, I love that you're proud of this town, but what does an
Angelino
think of?
The third skyscraper is up to the 27th floor now.
We call them skyscrapers.
They are. They scrape our sky.
They do scrape the sky. Okay.
Yes, it was cloudy. The clouds were a little low, and they were scraping. Yeah, there's where they play the College World Series. Mm-hmm. There's where they play There's where they play concerts,
swim trials,
Creighton basketball games, and swim trials. It was nice.
We've held many a March Madness there.
The Angelino that I was driving around was classic Angelino, just on his phone the whole time.
Typical Californian. Nobody works out
but
there.
This my friend Ryan was describing to me what it's like in Los Angeles at the moment. Not great. Doesn't sound fun. I don't think I want to be there.
No.
Nope.
Sit in a parking lot that is the interstate for a couple hours.
Nope, does not sound good. No. Does not sound good. All right, stat. So the Houston Texans, since becoming the Houston Texans,
out of nothing, they have no history.
Yes.
If you understand how franchises work, the Houston Texans have no history.
Thank you for the clarification, Josh. They became a team in 2002.
That's right.
They didn't make the playoffs until 2011. Since 2011, they've made the playoff 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this will be the 8th time.
Congrats to the Texans.
That's not a bad run.
No.
That's not a bad run. Each of their first playoff games has started at 3:30 on Saturday. They have played in the, as Bill Simmons would call it, the Shakey's game every single time.
Which is really weird because Houston is the 4th largest television market.
I know, but nobody wants to watch the Texans.
Yeah, they've never had one team where you're like, I gotta watch even this year's team, who we kind of thought might be.
Yeah, they didn't turn out. This team did not turn out to be that team.
Mid as hell in a Garbo division.
A very a question that we could spend a lot of time pondering on if you care about the NFL is what happened to CJ Stroud this year.
Sophomore slump.
Is it just that? Is it the fact that he's lost? He's had in and outs with receivers all year long. Diggs got hurt, and now Tank Dell broke his leg into a million pieces.
Regular mass shooter to that receiver core, Cotter.
Thank you. You also notice on a lot of these that J.J. Watt won the Defensive Player of the Year for many Texans teams.
Oh, interesting. And how many rings does he have to show for it? I saw him trolling the Titans yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, why this must be a typo. The Houston Oilers sacked the Houston Texans for blah, 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 blah. Shut up, J.J. Watt.
I don't even know what you were saying.
Don't you know how franchises work?
What was your favorite Texans Shakey's game? Everyone has a favorite, but everyone
the most memorable one is when I was a lowly board op. I was running the board. I don't know how, I don't know why, for a Chiefs playoff game. And
was it the one where they were up big and then they got drilled, or was it the one where they got drilled all the way through?
It was the one where M's Pub caught on fire during that game.
Probably 2015.
And I had to monitor 2 rooms at the same time.
They got beat 30-0.
Oh gosh.
So they got beat 30-0 by the Chiefs in the wildcard game in 15. But the most memorable Houston Texans playoff game
when they had
there has ever been was the divisional loss in Kansas City.
Up 14-0.
Where it was worse than that, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, they were up 14.
No, they were up it was 28-0, wasn't it?
Oh god.
I mean, it was really bad. Deshaun Watson and them boys were crushing Kansas City. They were going to run them out of the building. They lost 50. Wow, I didn't realize it was that bad. 51-31.
Oh man, if only J.J. Watt could have helped him out of that.
Hold on. I got to go back to this game because that's definitely the most memorable Houston Texans playoff game that we've ever had. It was at least 21-0, may have been 24-0, and all those points got wiped out like in a span of minutes. I mean, it was so it was. I think it was 24-0.
It was 24-0.
It was 24-0, and it was 28-24 by halftime.
Yes, that is correct.
What an awesome!
Travis Kelce caught 3 touchdown passes in the second quarter.
That was definitely the most memorable Houston Texans playoff game that I can remember. Here's Mike on the text line.
Hi, Mike.
I like to watch the Houston Texans. They're my favorite team. Signed, Mike. Are you sure, Mike? Are you sure? Because here's what's going to happen on Saturday afternoon. Jim Harbaugh's about to roll.
Yeah.
Taking a look at the playoff games as it did shape out here. We missed comedy. We didn't get the comedy that we really needed this weekend.
Oh.
And I know Denver Broncos fans would disagree with me, but it would have been pretty funny if the Chiefs didn't roll over in that game and end up
and Joe
winning.
Burrow would have made the playoffs.
And Joe Burrow would have made the playoffs,
yeah.
and then we would have got a really, really great game between Buffalo and Cincinnati. But instead, we get Denver and Buffalo, which is objectively less fun.
Yes.
Objectively less fun. Is there any Broncos fans who are listening to this show right now who have any dreams and aspirations of winning that football game on Sunday?
Well, if it snows a foot and it really slows both teams down, maybe Denver could.
Okay, here's a better way to ask it. If you have a survivor pool this weekend,
okay,
who's your survivor pick? Is it Baltimore or Buffalo? Because those are the two obvious options.
Yeah, I'm probably
because
picking
Pittsburgh
Buffalo.
looks like ass.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh looks horrendous.
They have turned into a pumpkin.
Yep. I was looking it up because it feels like they've just really sucked at the end of seasons lately. But remember, last year they won 3 in a row to get to the point where, they still have the Tomlin stat. And it was the same thing 2 years ago, too. But they're in bad shape right now. So if you had a survivor pick this weekend, who's your pick? I mean, you could go off the board, but I'm just giving you the 2 most likely options.
I would go Buffalo.
I think I would too. At least the other one's like a divisional game, and like you could sort of back your way into, maybe Lamar Jackson is bad in the playoffs, or something like that. You could just say, Mike Tomlin. Yeah, I don't really see any conceivable path for Denver in that game.
Seems hard outside of a crippling injury that we dare not speak of.
No, we do not speak of Josh Allen being harmed in any way, shape, or form on this show. We do not.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Elsewhere, like I said, you got the Chargers going to Houston as 3-point favorites in your annual Saturday afternoon game that just eases you right into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That game is on CBS. Pittsburgh heads to Baltimore. Pittsburgh, the 6th seed, heads to 3-seed Baltimore in the AFC.
Ravens.
That is your Amazon Prime game Saturday night.
Ravens a 10-point favorite on ESPN Bet.
I would imagine that will grow. Denver gets in the playoffs and heads to Buffalo Sunday at noon. Wonder what the weather will be like for that one. I'm going to check some. What's the lake effect situation up there right now? What are we cooking?
We got Sunday
in Buffalo. Can't wait till they have their amazing snow melting stadium. Have you seen the?
I have seen the.
Oh yeah, that looks awesome.
Sunday in Buffalo, we're looking at 30 and cloudy. No real snow. This week in Buffalo.
Wow.
Maybe Saturday morning snow showers, but
maybe you have to wait till round 2 on that one. Sunday afternoon, you get Green Bay and Philly.
It's really weird that the 3 AFC games play before any of the
NFC
games.
It is kind of odd, but that's just that. I mean, I don't have any arguments on how they worked it out from a time perspective, because they do this based on who's going to watch what game. They all seem to be placed in the appropriate places.
I guess I would have switched the 2 NFC Sunday games, but whatever. Fox probably said, no, we're Fox.
You would have rather had Green Bay and Philly be the night game?
Yeah. But Fox.
I disagree, actually.
Fox probably said, no, we're Fox. We're the home of the NFC. We're taking.
We get
Green
our
Bay.
pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe in either of those teams, the Packers or the Eagles.
I don't think Packers fans believe in the Packers anymore.
No, because it's hard to swallow. As much as you don't care, it's hard to swallow losing to the Bears.
Yeah, and
Christian Watson tearing his ACL.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yep.
Jordan Love
no longer with us.
Got an ouchie on his hand.
Ouch. Yeah,
they don't believe in that team.
I don't think that game looks as attractive. It's an odds. It's a 5.5 Vegas zone. Like, I'm not really sure you could convince me that either team wins that game. Sunday night, I think, is really good with Washington and Tampa. Tampa is going to be a very trendy Super Bowl pick, a very trendy NFC Championship game pick.
Ooh.
I don't you think?
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. Mostly because of what you don't believe about Philly, and then what you then saw exposed with the Minnesota Vikings last night. Minnesota went from a trendy, like I said at the start of the show, I thought if that game was going to be a blowout, if you were telling me pregame that game was a blowout, I would have told you it would have been by Minnesota because of what Detroit's defense has been through and all that stuff. Like, I kind of thought Minnesota was going to roll them and how good Darnold had been. Different Darnold.
Oof,
Snowball got moving in the wrong direction. And now they're going to LA and they are slight favorites. But gosh, I think that'll be everybody's upset pick this week.
Rams?
Yeah.
Rams house?
Monday night. Yep.
Rams are hot.
If there is an upset to be had, which there always is, there's always 2 probably. I don't know what the stat. We'll check that throughout the week. Like how many, if there's 6 wild card games, how many upsets are we getting? Probably at least 2, right? Maybe even more. Isn't it? Don't you just default to LA, the Rams?
Gosh, it's hard to pick against a team that won 14 games, but
it's them.
But yeah,
I could see Green Bay winning. I could see Washington winning. I could see Houston winning.
Remember, Houston winning would be an upset,
right? Even though they're the home team. But that one the least. I can't see Pittsburgh or Denver winning really. But the other ones I could all see. But Minnesota is the most on watch for me after how that went.
Exposed.
They do have an extra day, but that's a tough one to
Rams
swallow.
got that good D line. They could probably do something similar to what Detroit did last night, where you just put Sam Darnold through hell.
Not a great thing to show in that game. Like everybody was hoping that they got, and people do hold it against teams who like you're in a big game and you really bombed out in a big game, and now it's like a big game happens. I can't believe in you now
because I saw one big game.
And this is just now the label that it. And unfortunately for the Vikings, they kind of do this sometimes.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's tough label to get off your chest. A few comments here.
Okay.
Here's Goon.
Hi, Goon.
Got a couple predictions he wants to throw our way. Texans 28, Chargers 20, Bills 29, Denver 7. He's got the Texans.
Oh, Texans.
A Texans believer.
Oh, okay.
Declan writes in.
Hi, Declan.
Biggest loss of the weekend, assuming I'm correct, is the lack of Mount Happer. Yeah. Nope. Not even. I mean, we didn't get anything.
No.
We didn't get any snow.
Got that dry slot.
Mount Happer. We haven't got snow here in a year.
We are in the
in a year.
Third driest winter of all time right now in Omaha.
Yeah. I mean, we're chopping off the days, Josh.
Yeah, that's right.
How many days till pitchers and catchers report at this point? Like 35?
Yeah. I think I saw today it's 80 days.
It's over.
Day.
Winter is over.
No.
Not my responsibility. Mustache Adam.
Hi, mustache.
Can't confirm as a Packers fan, didn't believe in the team late in the season after they couldn't beat a team with a pulse, and now really don't believe in them, which means they're going to beat Philly. So riding the roller coaster is Packers fan mustache Adam. Travis writes in.
Hi, Travis.
I see how it is, Connor. I listen to the show, giving nothing but respect and encouragement. But what do I get from you in return? Spit in the face of hating on the Broncos. Travis. I love you. You're not going to beat the Bills.
Alex in Lincoln, Broncos fan. He says Broncos are going to roll.
Stibbs, Travis, Alex. I don't know. That's a lot of mental gymnastics if you're thinking that. Thinking your team is going to win is one thing. Thinking your team is going to beat my sweet baby boy, Josh Allen.
Thinking a
on the
rookie
road?
QB is going to walk into Buffalo.
I don't think so.
In the playoffs.
Give me a break. Not going to happen. We'll talk plenty about the NFL this week. All right. We'll come back. We got the Pulse. We'll tell you what to watch. Next on 1620 The Zone. One more follow-up from Travis on the YouTube.
Hi, Travis.
Nick Bonito is hungry and Josh Allen is on the menu.
Oh, no. That can't be good for Mr. Haley Steinfeld.
People have made the Casa Bonito jokes, right?
I would assume so.
Okay.
I would hope so, actually.
Right, just making sure. They tried to trap the Chiefs in Denver, even though that was Kansas City's weather's fault.
Yeah, that's right.
Something going on with that franchise. Wore some great jerseys yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Half rebranded themselves, but not fully. Weird. Bo Nix is their quarterback. I don't know what to do with them. They made the playoffs, though, so congratulations to them.
They did.
All right, to the polls at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. First poll of the week, and really what is the first poll of the year.
Last week was like a preseason for the year.
Like a fake week.
Yeah.
Do babies have noses?
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
They do. Why would Matt McMaster say they don't?
I'm not sure, but we're going to get a lot of poll questions from the mouth of Matt McMaster.
Yeah.
That we're going to have to answer for at the end of our show, sadly. 90% say yes. It's a good trend.
It is.
Would you let a food delivery driver like DoorDash or Uber Eats or etc. use your bathroom?
I would not even consider it.
There should have been a yes, no, or hell no. That's how I would have voted. No will suffice. Wow. Only 86% say no.
Wow.
14% is an astronomically high number.
You say you would, but when push comes to shove and that door bell rings and like, hey, can I use your bathroom? You're saying no.
And those DoorDash drivers too, they like, that's a stereotype, but like they're not, sometimes they look like they don't smell very good. What are they doing? They're sitting in their car all day. They got to be comfortable.
Sure. You're saying too comfortable.
Yes.
Okay.
I am. Like, you don't, like, DoorDash drivers don't wear quarter zips.
Maybe they should be provided with one.
Maybe they should. D3 Mighty Ducks, question mark.
Begrudging yes. I'm a completionist.
I have no opinion, so I'll vote no. 56% say no.
Sad.
Think about it. Would you rather have it snow real snow or snow chocolate sauce?
I will go snow. You've convinced me.
Snow. 77% say snow. Good job by you guys. And finally, would the city of Lincoln have 0 chocolate sauce plows if it snowed chocolate sauce?
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct. Yeah. 91% say yes.
That was our most lopsided poll question.
Amazing.
More than babies having
Do
noses.
babies have noses? Was outdone by that. All right, those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching today?
We are watching, not much. College football tonight. We crown a champion in Frisco, Texas. FCS championship on the line between Montana State and North Dakota State. You can watch it on ESPN at 6 o'clock. You can listen to the radio coverage on 1180 beginning at 5:30 this evening. Men's basketball, Wisconsin at the very mid Rutgers, 6 o'clock BTN.
Mid might be nice.
Oh, okay.
They might be bad.
Well, I was trying to be kind. Watch, they'll win now. TCU at number 4, Houston, 8 o'clock on ESPN2. NBA TV doubleheader, 6 o'clock tip.
Should I tell you what is the best game today?
Oh, yeah. I kind of like when we do that.
It is Wisconsin and Rutgers.
Okay, great. Glad it's on TV.
Ohio State, Minnesota coming in second. And our dear friends, UTRGV makes a visit to southeastern Louisiana tonight in a big battle in the Southland Conference.
Do you have their record like literally right in front of you?
I do.
What is it?
It's 10-4.
Okay. If they're in
losses to Creighton, Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Lamar.
If they're in a bracket, like a 60, however many teams make the tournament now bracket,
you need to be very afraid.
I'm going to struggle not picking them.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the Southland Conference looks like this year, but they're going to have a good chance.
Yeah. Suns and Sixers at 6 o'clock, followed by Heat and Kings at 9 o'clock. 7 o'clock, Big Fox, TMZ investigates Luigi Mangione inside the mind of a killer.
Was he really that bad after all?
I don't know.
That's what the internet says.
Yeah. A couple of movies to watch on E! Tonight at 7:30. It's Dumb and Dumber. On FX at 6:40, Con Air is on. And finally tonight at 7 o'clock on Netflix, Connor, the 1,650th episode of Monday Night Raw. It is the first to not air on linear television as WWE comes to Netflix. History will be made. The Rock will be there. John Cena will be there. And many more luminaries.
Awesome.
In Los Angeles, including a performance by Travis Scott, who apparently is okay now.
Oh, they still let him do concerts after that one thing?
That's kind of what I was thinking, but who's the WWE to say, no, you're too much for us?
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is what we are watching tonight, and that is the show. If you missed anything, you can find it all on our website, 1620thezone.com. The crossover's next.